It is December 10th, 2015. This is our meeting here in the month of December. Our next meeting would typically happen on or about Christmas, so we are not having it this year. So if you are used to the 2 meetings a month, that will not be happening. Let's get started with our Pledge of Allegiance to our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. We had a little bit of discussion just before the meeting started with a resident who has a concern about beaver dam that is located off of Nonoquacious Brook. There'll be more information about that later. Why don't we go right to our 7:15, because it is 7:15, purchase of land near end of Cambridge Street.
Good evening. My name is Steve Safakis. I was born and raised in this town. My father, Emmanuel Safakis, served in this building for 12 years on the Board of Selectmen. My part-time job right now is trying to take care of my mother's affairs. The house on 27 High Street is all but sold, and my next job is to try to take care of the land. There's 5 lots behind that house.
Okay.
I'm going to give you some maps to hand out so you can kind of see what we're talking about here. Pass those out. There's a bigger map of the town.
The 5 lots are behind what house? What's
The house on 27 High Street.
On a personal note, my son thought Bessie was wonderful over the years. So.
Oh, nice. Good to hear that. And she's doing very well, as a matter of fact. She's 91,
My gracious.
living
Good for
in
her.
River Court Residences in Groton.
Well, thank you very much. Good for her.
So this land, it's a sloping land. If you look on the map there's William Street is on there, but there is no street going through there. Of course, it's just a paper road once you go past Norwood Avenue. So it's all woodlands. It would probably be a good place for a nature walk, dog walking park, pocket park, if you want to call it something like that. The other thing about it, the southeasternmost lot, if you look at lot number 82, and I highlighted the lots in yellow if you see that, follow along. Lot number 82 actually abuts the Nonoquacious Brook Park, where you see it says reservation for park. So in essence, this park could be a lot bigger if the town would like to purchase some of the lots there and make that connection with Nonoquacious Brook Park, which is just, I guess the town has never done anything with that, but it's always been a park on paper.
If I may.
Yes.
So the house is at 79?
That's correct. The house is at 79.
Okay,
yes.
so there's an existing house at 79. She had her garden in 75, right?
Actually, Mr. Solarski owns 75. There's a house there as well.
Oh, okay. That's the red.
So the garden is down below on
I gotcha.
70. Was down below on 79.
I gotcha. Okay. And then Winthrop Ave really stops there at High Street.
That's correct.
83, there's a house there,
That's correct, yes.
right? And then, is there a house at 85?
I think that's where the broken down house is.
Right.
Hudlin.
Hudlin. Well, I think that's way back in
Yeah, well,
whatever
it's down
87
in
is.
that area.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's an actual residence at 83. There's an actual residence at 79 and an actual residence at 75.
That's correct.
Okay. And then, of course, there are no residences at 76, 80, 77, 81. Are there residences at 78 and 82 off Cambridge Street?
78, yes.
But not 82?
Not 82, no.
Okay. And then past that, toward where the reservation for park is, there are no houses there?
That's correct.
Okay.
Of course, Cambridge Street extends out further to what I think is the east, but it's below that reservation for park,
Right.
where that is.
Okay.
So I just thought I'd throw it out there for you to, let me know if you're interested. Like I said, a pocket park, something like that, a walking park. The land on William Street that abuts William Street, where lot number 77 is, and actually 76 and 77, that is actually flat land there, and then it goes up from there. It's got ledge back there. I've got, builders that are drooling would love to get a hold of this and build another cul-de-sac. But first I'm going to let the town, offer it to the town and see if they would like to have it.
Well, that's very kind of you, first off. So the typical process for this sort of endeavor is most of the funding for this would come through CPC. So
and I heard, got some emails from Janet Papadakis the other day that this has been circulating apparently, and she thinks it would be a great use of CPC funds, so I think CPC would be interested.
Okay, and I know didn't we talk about this some time back? I think Lori came in to talk about this some time back.
Could be, because I did talk to Lori last year sometime.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought we had talked about it. So there were positives and negatives. Probably the biggest positive was that it's an open space that would be great to remain as open space. I think the only negative that I think we thought about at the time was that you'd actually have to cut into it for parking or whatever if you were going to make walking trails, because...
Sure. And I would say parking, the best place would probably be that William Street. And
Right.
of course, on Winthrop Ave, of course, stops at High Street as well. And there already is an existing path down Winthrop Avenue
Right.
connecting to Cambridge Street.
No, and I always thought about that every time, because as you come in front of the old nursing home, the old
Right.
hospital, you can see the road as it was
Right.
laid out.
Right.
Well,
I also believe Lori Nearing in an email to Janet, I think it was, mentioned this might be a possibility for creating a walking path from the downtown to the schools and then on to Pine Meadow Conservation Land.
well, it's certainly a pretty significant space in the middle of a lot of development, that's for sure. What's your time frame? Because this is the hard part for towns.
Sure. Well, I guess I would like an answer whether you're interested or not in, let's say, 2 months or so.
Okay.
And then let me know, and then I will hold on to it as long as I can. And I understand it's a process, and you need to request funds and approval of funds and all that stuff.
Part of that process. So I guess in a way we're lucky we've done this before. At a previous time, we purchased a piece of property, and what that involved was working with the Board of Selectmen and the town administrator to go through a series of steps that would allow us to first identify that the property was safe and stable. Obviously not an issue here, but
Right.
there are steps that have to be taken as far as validating that it's never been environmentally harmed, etc. The next step is then to work to get an appraisal, so that we can talk about what the potential value of the land would be versus what the cost of land would be.
Sure.
And then the next part is putting it on the warrant for town meeting, which would be in the spring.
Okay.
So we could secure funds, but we can't promise funds until May.
Mhm.
That's the hard part.
Right.
That's literally the best we can do. Only because...
I'm willing to wait that long if I see that the process is progressing toward that.
Well, so that's greatly appreciated, as long as that works for you.
Yeah.
So what I would like to propose is, if anyone is interested, would anyone be interested in doing a walk on Saturday morning for this property?
Sure. Yeah.
Something like 9 o'clock, really late in the day? Do you? You don't have to be present, but we'd love to have you there if you wanted to walk with us, as long as we had your permission to travel in the
Oh,
property.
yes, you have my permission. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it, but.
Okay.
What time, would you say Saturday?
Saturday morning at 9 a.m.
I will try to be there.
That would be great. Is there a better time for you? 9:15, 9:30?
No, I think, well, I may be out of town on Saturday, that's,
Okay.
depending on what the wife decides, so.
So what we'll do is we'll park up at the front, we'll come in through the driveway, and we'll walk down what is the paper street that is Winthrop as it
Sure.
continues down
Yeah.
through. We'll take a look back inside, and then probably the best thing to do, I see you've got an email address on here.
Yes, yeah, put my contact information.
So what I'd like to do is, after we're done, send you an email and tell you what our thoughts are from the walk. Don't want you to wait another minute after that, so.
All right, great. I'll be
Just
there.
Please
one
do.
quick question. Did you say how large the in total those 5 lots are?
I didn't say, I think all the lots are, I want to say a third of an acre. So
Okay.
I think you're only talking 2 acres maybe,
Okay, gotcha.
in that vicinity. 2 acres or less, I think.
Yeah, you could probably do the math on here. Yeah, this is back when a similar property was laid out on the other side, and the lots are about the same, 140 foot by 140
Right.
foot, so not much different. Okay. Are there any folks who'd like to speak about this? Mr. Neri?
Yeah, I'm Jim Neri. I live on Highland Avenue, so we're just up the road from the Savakas family home. And just wanted to speak in favor of the offer and thank the Savakas family for making the property available to the town first. You know, we live in a neighborhood that's fairly densely populated, single-family homes on lots, and we like that. And at the same time, it enhances the quality of the neighborhood to have pockets of open space here and there. And this is ideally situated to offer that for us. So I hope the town will seriously consider it, as it seems like you folks are poised to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle?
Just wondering if the walk will be publicly available on Saturday?
Yes, this is, so as long as Mr. Safakis is okay with it, there's no, this walk is not, public is not excluded from our walk in this case. So, Jeremy?
Sorry, I missed the presentation. I also support it. I think I know the gist of it. A representative of the Stockers family contacted the planning board when they're considering selling. They wanted to perhaps cut off the lots from the original lot and develop them. Not understanding that the streets were paper streets and not real streets. That became cost prohibitive. So I think it plays well as far as a route from the hill down to the street. But I made that walk myself many times when I zipped down to the gym.
Right?
Wasn't always neat, but I have made the walk. And I just wanted to add, I don't know if we discussed it, there are other parcels in play. Emily's Way is probably going 40B, which is on the other side, and well, we all know where that is.
Right.
Yeah.
Under the original design?
The original design isn't going to work financially. Matt Fields, when the developer went back and looked at it and decided that the ledge was too expensive to get through.
Sure.
Originally, he approached the town and wanted to do what we kind of call a friendly 40B, and the town, but he wants and he intends to do quite high density apartments on a portion of the lot and then leave the balance open. Under a friendly 40B, he would have turned the land over to the town for conservation. The balance, he might still do that. So that piece of property is in play. The old Hudland property's there as well. I have no idea what goes on with that property, why it's there, and why nothing happens. I don't know if anyone does. I know the Volunteers of America bought a little piece of property from the developer of Emily's Way to do additional parking.
Right.
So there's a lot in play around there, and I think this piece can lock that in, if not, for future conservation. So I think probably the planning board would give a thumbs up as well.
Well, thank you very much.
No.
So, thank you for coming forward, and
you.
we look very much forward to walking it on Saturday morning. If you can make it, that would be great. If not, we'll be back in touch after our walk.
Great.
But,
Thank you very much.
go ahead.
Where exactly do we meet?
Oh, so if you were heading up High Street, like you were going to go to the old hospital,
Okay,
just before you get to the corner, on the right is a white house
okay.
with a driveway, and when you look at the driveway,
Is that where
you see what looks like a
75
path.
Yeah.
Yep, it's the 79. 79. So you'll get up. So if you kept on going past the White House on the right, you'd end up in the parking area for the old hospital.
Okay.
So it's the White House on the right.
So is that 27?
I recognize this map more than this.
Sure.
So-
So actually, see where the road turns?
Yep.
Right here?
That's
This
it.
house right
Okay,
here.
that's it.
If you go past, you get to
So,
the other house with Janelle and her husband and the 3 or 4 boys. I think it's 4 boys.
Where this road
Don't
makes a
want
turn.
Yep.
There's a lot of kids.
Somewhere. right
Okay,
there.
so right here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Was this before or after the Beaver Dam?
Well, no, we're done on the Beaver Dam.
Have to find out where the Beaver Dam is.
We need to. She doesn't know where the Beaver Dam is, and we can't see it from her house, so there's no sense going.
I thought you were gonna go look anyway.
Well, I may go look, but I'm not going to go there. 9 o'clock in the morning to trump around. I'll spend the time on Google Earth first and see if I can figure out where it probably is. Start there. All right, so I'm going to put that in my calendar for 9 o'clock Saturday morning. Okay, why don't we go to our 7:20 p.m. We have a request for determination of applicability for Neshoba Hospital, Mass Electric.
Excellent.
Good evening.
And your name is?
My name is Teresa Portante. I'm with BSC Group, representing the Massachusetts Electric Company.
Can you spell your
Also-
last name?
Oh, sure. It's Portante, like importante without
Okay,
the
without the M.
Also with me this evening is Andrew Shelby with National Grid. Here.
Evening.
I just want to pass out the maps that were included in the filing.
Thank you.
This way.
We got backed up.
I'm good.
You're good?
There we go.
All right.
Been there, seen that.
Okay.
Okay, so we're here to request a negative determination for the installation of 2 distribution poles that will be located within the outer 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland located at the Neshoba Hospital property. The 2 poles will be part of a new line connection to the hospital. Currently, the hospital is serviced by the 201 W1 distribution line that actually runs behind the hospital along the rail trail and then back again all the way to Park Street. The access to that line is rather difficult. So to improve reliability, they are going to relocate that line along Washington Street. There's an existing line that runs along Washington Street, so they're just redirecting the service. And so it'll connect to pole 71-1 located at the end of the property, and will run to the back of the parcel along the parking lot areas, and then we'll connect to an existing pole P719. It's back behind the Connex boxes on the parking lot.
Right. So all the poles, so P71-1 is in place, or that's a new pole to be
That's a
installed?
new pole. All
And-
the yellow markings are new poles.
Okay.
P719, the number is changing, but there is a pole there.
Gotcha. Okay. So the installation is to put in these poles,
Correct.
and it looks like just a few of which are jurisdictional.
Yes.
And the work involves simply digging and setting the poles. What's the diameter on the pole?
The diameter, I don't know the exact diameter of the pole.
Wooden poles, though.
But, excuse me?
Wooden poles.
Yes, just typical distribution poles that you see alongside the right-of-way. In total, probably about 10 square feet of disturbance just from the augering, setting the poles.
Right.
And then whatever they excavate, they use to backfill, any excess removed from the site.
Okay. Jess, do you have any questions?
No.
George? Takashi? Brian, have you been over to the spot where this is? Have you ever seen this?
Basically it's fine. It looks like it's leftover bits of the parking lot that they just pushed off to the edge. The thing that I would be worried about is the knotweed. Both from an infrastructure standpoint and from a spreading the problem standpoint. So if there was a way to put together some kind of like invasive management plan to like throw in with this as opposed to like a standard like vegetation plan that might go with the right of way, that might be nice because for obvious reasons.
Sure. I can speak to that. In terms of the actual installation, we will be issuing an environmental field issue for the project, which will describe practices that they have to adhere to for working with in areas of invasive species. Yes, this right-of-way, this area is riddled. So they will be required to clean their equipment before leaving the site. And, we will also be on site, making sure that they're adhering to these practices. In terms of the long-term management, part of National
Yeah.
Grid's vegetative management plan is to control invasive species. Again, this is a very difficult area. That it is one of the biggest stands that I've seen in a while. You can
Yeah,
pick
it's
it
a
up from the
pretty big
satellite.
patch.
Yes,
It's a pretty
yes.
big patch.
Yeah.
Yeah, my concern is that basically the land you're going to be digging into is already riddled with rhizomes from the stuff.
Yes.
And so even though, like, whatever the distance that, standard practice is you have in mind is, it probably isn't going to solve any problems. And, I think there might be a good argument to be made for actually pushing into it. I don't think solving the problem is going to happen, but at least keeping it at a distance might come in handy. But that's a longer chat.
So what I think I hear you're saying is that, so for instance, because there's an opportunity to take a rhizome from the material that could end up in the material that doesn't end up as backfill, they should leave that material on site rather than take it off site.
Right. That's A, and then the angle I'm playing with more now is that the knotweed does have a habit of undermining infrastructure and growing through pavement and growing through mortar, and so a telephone pole, no matter how it's put in, essentially isn't gonna resist anything. So if they're already drilling into soil full of rhizomes, aside from the first point, is that the structure might not be stable, in the kind of terms that might be otherwise expected, because it might be undermined and drilled into.
Well, I guess I'm not sure about that. So what depth do you set the poles?
It's 10% plus 2 feet from the height of the pole. So generally, it's about 6 feet embedded into the ground.
As far as I know, I did a lot of work with knotweed, and nobody has figured out how far down they go. They go at least 20 feet down and at least 25 feet out without. So I
Well.
see it's a slightly larger discussion, but that's why I'm saying even if it's not part of the intention for vegetation management and part of the regular scope for invasive management, it might behoove everybody if you guys picked a certain distance and just started buffering it, and hopefully that would kill the rhizomes that might get into your area of concern. But then maybe that's something that we could tie in with the hospital or our own effort or whatever, because honestly that wetland is a goner. There's no point in having it mapped at this point, because if it's not weeds, you're going to eat it.
Well, so
But that's, again, a whole
a
other-
topic for a
yeah,
different day.
Right.
Okay. So as far as this jurisdictional application is concerned,
Right.
If anyone has any questions or thoughts? No. Okay. Then I would accept a
That's the
negative
submission.
determination of applicability with a special condition that the remaining soil left over from the project be left on site, so that any potential
Yeah, it's-
invasive
Right, it stays
species,
there.
rhizomes are left on site. If I remember correctly, there was a dirt road right about here, which
Yep.
miraculously your photo doesn't show. Must have greened up very nicely since they did all that
Yes.
work back there.
The right away, yep.
So were you guys part of that, or was that part of the hospital expansion?
That I'm not aware of. Looking at the aerials, I assume part of their expansion of their parking lot right here.
So actually, well, they did. They expanded the hospital in the front, and when they did, they had soil piles back here,
Gotcha.
which we worked with the hospital on. So there's probably a much better spot over here in this area, which is non-jurisdictional and adjacent to the area that's already has the knotweed, which would be the best place to put the soils.
Okay. If
So-
it's within their right of way, they would be able to do that, certainly, so.
Perfect. Unless anyone has any other thoughts on that.
I'm gonna write it up. Can you? I'm pretty sure if I remember right, the right of way. You just dump it on top of the knotweed that's already there. And then literally any problems stay where they already are.
Sure.
There,
We
great.
can specify that.
And then we could all be amused by how scarily and quickly the knotweed comes through the pile that you dumped down.
Excellent. I guess the special condition, if you're okay with it, I think it makes the most sense, is why don't we relate it to all of the soil that's produced from the digging of the poles? Because they do go around the entire parking lot. Is that,
It probably goes under the parking lot. Yeah, anything they're going to touch, I'd say that risk is certainly present.
okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. With that special condition in mind, I would accept the motion to move forward.
So,
Second.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
All in favor say aye.
I,
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You as well. Okay.
It's a really big patch of knotweed. It's going to eat that wetland.
20 feet down. Does it present a knotty problem? Oh, jeez.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Just afraid you had an AU in it. All right.
Burning it.
Waste of time.
What's that?
Anything but poison is essentially a waste of time, which is unfortunate because it's generally in a wetland.
How hard can that be? Thank you.
All sorts of negatives. Here, I'll bring this to around.
All right.
All right, so as a
Okay.
quick introduction before Deshane gets going, there's a handful of, shall we call them historical documents that are referenced in every plan you've seen that I don't have a copy of, that I've called the original consultants and they haven't gotten back to me. They've gone looking in their archives, theoretically.
Meisner-Brem, wasn't it?
Sorry?
Was it Meisner-Brem?
Yeah, and there was another one as well. They didn't get back to me with anything, and I checked in with Deshang, and he checked in with his people, and so far we haven't been able to find these. And what they are is a supplemental notice of intent, or a supplement to a notice of intent, and then the site plans that went with it. And this was after plans were changed, and this was the space when the mitigation areas were determined. And the reason this seems relevant and why I'm bringing it up is that it appears that at the moment we have no paperwork establishing how the mitigation areas were originally come to. So we have no, other than the letter that you guys saw, we have no guidance, shall we say.
All right. Well, it's always better when we ramp the difficulty factor up.
Yeah, good fun.
All right. Well, why don't we reopen our public hearing for the notice of intent DEP file number 100-0387, as filed by Bruce Wheeler of Willows Road Development and as presented by Deshang. Good evening, Deshang.
yeah, good evening. For the record, my name is Deshang Wang. So from the last hearing, so we trying to get some hand on the history of how the site was approved and reviewed. And I talked to the applicants, so they digging into their files, just couldn't find, as Brian briefed you, I cannot get it. So as trying to re-engineer it, so I started from, the aerial photo, and then the plan, the overall plan. And then from what I saw there, from basically early 2012, when the site was pretty much denuded, all the mud is, pushing downhill. So I said, well, and I read absence letter. Basically, what they're talking about looks like they're reviewing that under 310 CMR 58.5, which is pre-developed area or disturbed area. That seems like it makes sense to me from aerial photo at least. So I say, okay, that's trying to get something together. So first is the cost of the foundation. So you have a table, the applicant tabulated detailed cost. And the grade area was the 3 units they experimenting to deal with the soils. And you can see the cost is more than double than the normal soil condition. And if you recall, so this is where the slopes keep slumping in. So this pink area. So, and we had to do a drains and the slope stabilization at the time. So that two groups, 20 to 22 and the 23 to 25 was totally taken out because that mud is going to bury the people, like in California, whatever. So they take it out, so there's no, and then this one, they try to do it. That's in unit 47. You can see, again, this is 47 to 49 technically. You can see that cost is 12% of the total cost, and the expanse.
No, just leave them on. Speak.
Do you have another one? Yeah, I have one.
He needs another one.
Oh, no, I'm going to listen. That's okay. I'll read later. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. I'm still going to listen.
I did a little cover myself to make a couple more. So that was relocated. After they do this one, they fired a few field modification to relocate all this and regrouping them. So basically go beyond wherever the soil is good, beyond the mining. So then at the end of it, they find this area, some of the relocation is still not good. But keeping in mind, whatever the cost is high means the soil is bad and it's also worse for the erosion control. And so every time the construction happened to here, this is we call a point B around this area. It's just nightmare. Every time it rains, we have to go there and check it out. So the cost was really, really expensive in addition to the foundation itself, because every time it rains, they have to pump in back all the water to treat it. So that's have been going on for 3 years. And so they say, well, if we can avoid it, when they did the lot, the unit 95 to 97, so you can see that cost, basically labeled under 95 at the bottom. So which is only 4% of the total cost. So, and we never see any erosion went beyond. So the seal fence, there's no issue. So it seems like it's very natural thinking to move it there. So in a way, it's not just the cost originally, but the cost, of course, to the developer. When we were doing the erosion control plan, they said you get to minimize your activity, take it out. Anything you can take it out from that mining area, it would be better off. So they follow that instruction, did it, but they only have some places they cannot do all of them. So that's from the cost perspective. The cost is a reference in my view. So you look in all this list, so only this group. And then they say we cannot continue. At that time they already did, I think 47 was prior to do this. I can't remember, they already did that. They figure out it's not the best soils to disturb for the erosion control as well as from their cost. So that's why they were doing that. That's the major reason. So from the cost and then from the history. So even though I cannot find the document, I did talk to Mark O'Hagan, and he told me originally this was permitted like 94 units in the interior, and then they put 5 A&R lots on Willow Street. But from the ZBAs and all the people, the DPW, they're thinking that's just a busy street. They like, rather than to remove, taking up the 3 lots, which is single family, and give them 3 lot extra inside. So it's a trade-off. So that's, and then you can see that was still in the process of the notice of intent, was not really a refile. So if you look in this plan, actually this is July 2005. It's already have that lots already there. So in a way it was probably from ZBA's comprehension permit, all that things. Then it went back to do the revision. And so if I'm looking at the latest one is 2013. This one is 2013. If you're looking, so that 2 house lots gone. So they take it out, and so they moved it to here, make this one some more denser. So that's where. So they say, well, okay, we did it, and I say, well, I read absence. They review under 310 CMR 58.5, so they raised all the issues. It's basically say you get to give us the data. So obviously the commission somehow, I don't know why the data is reviewed and approved. So it means they, but I'm not even sure at the time how people did it. If I were doing it, I would went to the historic photo and look at it. So they regulated even this pond as a wetlands, but if you're really looking, it was permitted through a notice of intent in DEP. So it's a stormwater pond for siltation and sediment control. So it's really on record. It's not even not even supposed to be a regulated wetlands. Should be like a stormwater pond. And but in the order, they did require them to inspect all the annually, maintain it when you need it. So you can see, even though they treat it as wetland, but they realize that's man-made. So to some degree, what I can see from the land, so they marked. If you see marked about 25 foot on each side of the roadway as a mitigation area. So that's I imagine it. So the numbers is a little bit probably may have a little bit different. I see the property line off. I don't have the document. Looks like they have a easement or some roadway. I did including that in this new measurements because without that, it's probably the riverfront and disturbance will be a little bit less. So if this one was the easement or whatever, this road access was part of the project granted, I think we should measure it. So I measured, presented over here. So if you're looking on the table 2, it's basically the riverfront areas, 60% was disturbed based on the photo, based on the limit of mitigation.
So Dishing, sorry to interrupt you. I just have a simple question.
Yes.
You know, in terms of like total square feet, in terms of it's the riverfront area, I'm a little confused in terms of where all the numbers come from. So, you know, if you look at the order of conditions from 2005, you know, WPA Form 5,
They do have any.
there's no mention, right?
Right.
There's no number.
That's correct.
And then when you look at the form from 2015, it's 126,000.
Right. At that
right?
time, I did measure the area of the property, but it was like an easement.
So
it's
that number, 126,000, came from
the plan, measured it out.
in 2015.
Right.
Okay.
And but not including the offsite. So even though it's part of the project,
Okay.
it didn't including the offsite roadway and disturbance.
Okay.
So but it's 100 right now the 169 57 8. So
where is the differential now between the 169, 578?
Yeah, was the one off our property, but so you can see this triangle area. This is the property line, and the roadway is continuous. We shouldn't cut it off in a way from my and more holistic analysis.
So it includes the roadway?
Yeah, right.
Well, so it includes that acre,
That
the
acre.
40,000 feet, almost an acre
Right.
of area that he excluded because it wasn't in the property.
Right.
Okay.
Originally, it was
All
not
right.
in the property, and then because when we filed, that's was confusing to me at the beginning. I said, well, is this your property or not? They say it's not their property. They have a right to the property, and then in the regulation, they don't really spell it out. They say on the property how you. But for our impact, I think we should include it for to looking into it. So then we measured it out, and then. The pre-disturbed condition, so it's basically 60% disturbed, and then the approved disturbance is basically remain as disturbed, the roadway, and this actually is not that much of building, so this is this part, and this is very corner of it in the riverfront area. So the roadway is the majority. Okay, and so coming to, if I'm looking into it, you can provide either 1-to-1 or 2-to-1. If you can provide 2-to-1 mitigation, so basically you can go ahead in the pre-disturbed riverfront area. So I still don't have any supporting information from what I'm reading, so I think it could be. And if you look in the mitigation area, there's a good portion was outside of the riverfront area too. So I didn't include it into this calculation because I say I'm only limited to the riverfront area analysis. So in a way, if you look in this mitigation areas, 8,794, but it's only like a small portion is located, so like 3,000 or so. So it's located in the riverfront area. So it's probably the overall, if you read it, it's basically overall you don't have a negative impact compared to existing and the proposed project. That's the spirit of riverfront or for redevelopment. So the commission reviewed and with the consultants, they look in the existing condition and with the proposed one, they deem it's not, will not result in any negative impact to overall wetlands as well as riverfront. That's what I can read, and from the numbers seems like it makes sense. So if you have 60% disturbed riverfront area reduced to about 16% to 20%, so you cut 60% off of the disturbed area. And at that time, the disturbed is real disturbed because the mud is, stripped off and the mud basically flowing all over the place. So not only this one, we look at quite a few. The pond was when they permitted was as a siltation and stormwater pond. So most is siltation. So lots, and we did try to poke it down. At the bottom, we have more than a foot of silt, clay soils. So that nobody bothered. Well, not saying nobody bothered. So unless somebody say you get to clean it out, they say that's why it's not wetlands. Was siltation pond, just like in any quarries, they have siltation pond. When they wash the sand or the fines get to it. For this side, it was not even sand. The whole thing is clay. So we all know
I
that.
have another question, sorry, I'm gonna be like, lots of questions tonight. So in terms of disturbed areas, would the areas where those units cannot be built because of the soil
Right.
be included in disturbed in the future when you calculate
Yeah, there's
percent, total disturbed area? Because it's still disturbed.
Right, right. Yeah, sorry to maybe confuse you a little bit. For the disturbance, what we are talking about, anything outside of 200 feet from the river, they are not counted. So because they are outside of the jurisdiction,
Okay.
so for river and for wetlands, it's 100 feet away. So our disturbance analysis only limited to the 200
Okay.
feet to the river. So for this purpose.
Okay,
Okay, and then so just sort of for mitigation, obviously, the degradation and so this area, so they had the mitigation go all the way to inside of the 100-foot riverfront area. So it means to the degree it was degraded and allowed them for doing the mitigation. So if it's a pristine riverfront area, why they even included into this? So we can't, if you go to the side, most of the area like this slope, it looks so nice. I have the photos. I think most of you can remember. This is nightmare, so it's not fun to look at. But right now it's very nice and look. So from even that perspective, when we were doing the site visit, we said, oh, the pond looks really clean. The whole 3 years, it never day clean like that. So you can see that the whole mitigation and the construction, even outside of the riverfront area was working now. It's getting you can see the benefit. It's getting there. So get the site as less and less. So then we come into our current construction as proposed to here for the two reasons. Relocating there. So if we keep it over there, you can see over there that water keep on going to the wetlands. So this is a very problematic area. It still stays a little bit. So we are providing more than one-to-one mitigation. And I think to address Mr. Brown's comment, so if we can go back to the 310 CMR 58.5F, I mean, I don't mind to add in another 5,000, to do 2-to-1 mitigation, because may as well, so to
Do you
make
have the
it.
space for it? Can
Yeah.
you show that on the plan?
Yeah, so over here, so this whole area is more than actually 2-to-1. So this area, so this is pretty much the 5,000 square feet, and I did a measurement over here. it's more than that. It's easy to achieve the 2 to 1.
Is that the last area that we visited on the sidewalk?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have the area to do it, so it's not, we can't.
Not if you.
But
include the
one
two
second, please, Mr. Brown.
Yeah. So that's what, if you're looking, as I pointed out, except the roadway is clearly, even in the absence, before they get any data, he agreed that roadway, I don't know originally if you remember, it's a dirt roadway.
It was.
Yeah, so that, if it's a dirt roadway compared with the paved and with the stormwater management, is day and night. There's no comparison on the adverse impact to the river. So that is just the roadway getting paved and the stormwater, it's already can be considered improvements. It can be approved already without any mitigation. So I think if there's any, they did improving the site, making a stormwater quality swale around there. You can see that this is an old plan, they caught 25 feet around it. So that's technically was on the historic plan. It's not I interpreting it. It's just using their data to did our analysis. So then talking about the adding in, yeah, we are adding the building will have an impervious area within this mitigation area. So, but we did all the mitigation. So the stormwater recharge and the stormwater direct to the road drainage to go to the same basin, as I explained. Especially Bonnie, you may think and say the units originally here is going to the basin. So when we move it to here, so we make sure the paved area, which is considered the dirty water, so it will go through the drainage system and the pipe to the forebank, treat it, then go. So there's no difference than over here. So it means that if you go looking right now, this shoulder was actually, it's a little bit more disturbed now. So, and any roofs, we're actually providing extra recharge compared with at this location. So we have more recharge than the original location. So from the mitigation perspective. And then on top of it, we provided 1-to-1, I believe with that. This is adequate, but so if we want to make it simple, to make it 2-to-1, I don't think that's there's a logic to some degree. I know Ms. Brown is an engineer, say, oh, you already have one mitigation here. When you used it, you get to providing one and then providing one for the one. So that's if I understand right from his logic.
So to summarize,
Yes,
at our last meeting, we reviewed where the location of the unit would be.
right.
There was a discussion about moving the unit 5 feet farther away from
Yes.
the
That's
original unit that's in
right.
place.
That's in place.
We discussed the construction cost and being able to show that there was a demonstrable difference between the existing foundation and a foundation in the area with the unsuitable soil.
Right.
So that's the data that's here.
Right.
And we discussed what the impact would be as far as a mitigation area. And so what you've indicated is that the proposed mitigation area is 4,408 feet. That you proposed a new mitigation area of 4,950 feet.
That's right.
And you've indicated that you would go to a 2-to-1 ratio for that and actually mitigate a 10,000 square foot area as opposed to the 4,400 square feet
Yes.
that was previously proposed.
Yes, yeah, if the commission feel more comfortable, and I feel, so since we are doing that, may as well do, making the whole site pretty much all mitigated. So rather
Okay.
than leave a small piece over there. So.
Jess, do you have any questions?
Come back to me.
George? Takashi?
I think I'm good. Thank you for the summary. I think.
And then what happens to the, was it the outflow, I can't remember what the definition, but the outflow from unit 95 and unit, so there was a pipe that we
Yeah, we found the pipe.
found, right?
Yeah, we found the pipe.
How does that get moved, or
No,
does it stay the
pipe-
same?
Yeah, it should be able to stay in the same place. I don't think it's overlaid with the new
It
proposal work.
doesn't
no.
go up underneath?
No,
Okay,
no. Yeah, it's pretty much at this corner. It's their foundation drain.
okay.
All right. Did you have anything more?
No, I'm glad to have this laid out the way it was. I certainly, if they're amenable to it, wouldn't mind seeing that additional mitigation area included. It was kind of mostly invasive.
Right.
Anyway, so,
Yeah, 90%.
yeah.
And I did, Brian and I sort of were looking back at the minutes from 2005.
I've
And there
got
are,
those here if anybody wants to look at them.
yeah, and there are a few minutes that are missing, or either were never done, or former commissioner was the clerk at the time. But one of the meetings, I think when it was, the order of conditions was agreed to on October 13th, does have a reference to, it has a reference to the restoration drawing showing changes, which we don't have, right? And then it does have a reference to the removal of invasive species and replanting to native species in the pond area and in the area near Unit 95 to the west. So that might seem to suggest that the original idea of that area was for mitigation.
Yeah, that's showed on this plan too, you can see around the pond over here. So they took mark on that. And this is the same thing marked over here. Actually, there's more. There's some around the roadside too.
So the exact language, thank you for pointing it out, Jess, the exact language is removal of invasive species and replanting to native species in pond area and in area near Unit 95 to the west. Can you point to Unit 95, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the area.
Okay. So specifically, the mitigation here was for replanting to native species in the pond area and in the area near Unit 95 to the west. Okay.
Yeah, which is consistent with the plan. So maybe some of the written documents are usually people they don't take in that too much. So they're not relying on the plan, but the plan is there. So that's all pretty much all the contract for. A few people read the wetland scientist report, even though it's too complicated.
Given the other wetland scientists?
Yeah, even I am. Fortunately, I'm an engineer. I do both. I try to put on the plan because if you don't, people will overlook. So that's
All right.
unfortunate.
Mr. Brown, did you have any comments?
Yes, I've got several and a couple of questions. One of the things that I did pull out was the original report that went with the proposal and of the road as Longview Circle. And what I'd like to correct is that the original proposal had the entrance to the condominiums over here on Willow, and it was to come down and go on the hill and dead end down here. And during all of the discussions with ZBA and review of the fire chief and review of the water department and what have you, they decided that they needed a second entrance into this circle for fire protection, for other reasons. And that opened up Pandora box for the developer, because this entire road all the way up to here is within the 200-foot Riverfront Protection Act, which was in place at that time and had been in place at that time for 10 years.
Well, 1995.
Yeah,
This was
is
2003, 8 years.
2005 is the report from Ross that started the whole thing. So it had been in place, and it appears as though the agreement was to identify how much of the 200-foot area would be disturbed in this area, and allow the building of this one building in here, because it was outside the two. And this is not the 95, this is the unit 33, 32, 33, and 34, that would be allowed. And so the town gave them about 130,000 square feet of this area here, and that's where the figure that you got, and that comes out of the Ross report, which, what did I do? Here it is. And the total acreage, and keeping in mind that the law stated that they could only have 10% could only go up to 10% of disturbed within the 200 foot. And what Ross came up with was that the area, mitigation area, would be for the road 35,000 square feet for this road. It would be 6,896 square feet of wetlands that were involved within this area here, and 879 or 8,794 square foot in riverfront, which is this area right in here. And that seems to be what the town compromised on. They were saying, okay, we're making you put this road in, so we'll allow you to go over the 10,000 square feet. But they held this for mitigation. They said, you don't have to mitigate anything in there, we'll let you do that. But we will make you do the mitigation here. And after that, immediately after that, they came back in and they wanted to put this building in.
Mr. Brown,
And
if
that got
I can stop
approved.
you for half a second. So where in that document does it say that the town required that the mitigation area be there in order to make up for the difference in the amount of area disturbed in the 200-foot riverfront area?
They didn't. They didn't say that the roadway had to be mitigated.
No, that's
They were
what
gonna
you
give
just
that
said.
to.
You said that if they were going to disturb greater than the
Right.
10%, that they
Right.
would be required to mitigate in that specific spot for that. Where is
Okay,
that
it's in-
located?
It's in the Ross report dated November 22nd, 2005.
Do you mind if I see
where
it for
they
myself?
talk- Where they talk all about, and this is in your files. Okay, and then.
November 22nd, 2005?
What?
Do you say November?
Yep. November.
Yeah, that's one of the ones we can't find.
Take it out?
Yeah.
Well, you can- I copied this
You-
from
you
your
were-
file and gave them back, so you can copy this from my file and they'll be okay.
Yeah, that's news
This
to
is not,
everybody here.
this is not the original, this was a copy.
I'm happy
And
to give it
then-
back to you. I'm just going to
Okay,
look for
and
it real quick.
then the second point here is that in the same report, they talked about the 28 acres of the whole site, and so that's 147,000 acres. 10% would have only been 14. So the town was negotiating up to the 35 for the road alone. So they've already used up all of the mitigation for any of the areas to include these buildings. These buildings.
Hold on, half
in
a
the
second. Just, so, did you say the entire property was 28 acres?
Yes.
Okay, so an acre is more or less 44,000 square feet, right?
Yeah, 43,
43,500.
43,516. So
560.
560. So 28 times 43,560 would be 1.21 million square feet. And if I take 10% of that, then the area allowed for disturbance would have been 121,000.
No,
no.
it's 10% of the riverfront.
So 10% of the riverfront area, so what does the 28 acres matter then?
Right.
The law is written with the 28 acres as the base, and you can't exceed 10% of the property to intrude into the riverfront.
The area of proposed work shall not exceed the amount of degraded area, provided that the proposed work may alter up to 10% if the degraded area is less than 10% of the riverfront area, except in accordance with 310, 1058.5 F or G. So, yeah, your 10% is riverfront, 200 feet.
Right.
Right.
Which is a different section of the law, which is the 310 CMR 58.4, which is whether you have predated the Rivers Protection Act as the pristine, unordered riverfront lot. If that lot is already, it's people already so if you go to Boston or go to any Milton, they paved up right to the river. So that's kind of exempted as long as you don't make it worse. That's what we call the no adverse impact performance. Okay,
Well,
they're
I
not.
disagree, because the only thing that was in there was a dirt road that went through this area. There was only a dirt road, it was only 2-truck width, and that riverfront area has been opened up to be 50 feet wide plus pavement, 25 on each side, etc. So it's far above, the riverfront impact was far and above the old gravel road that went in there that they used as the lower access to the pit. And that had been in effect for the 10 years. So you can't go back and claim that because this was all disturbed, that you get more area off of this.
No.
It was only the road, and that's what they addressed in that Ross report, was saying, basically because you want us to put the road in, then you have to kind of compromise, because we can't meet the 10%. We're going to be over the 10%. And they said that in there, and that's how they got to the 35,000 that they would allow you to disturb. And so you've already gone way over the 10% on the area affected.
Right, and I don't think DeShang is arguing that. He's got 16.65% here as approved disturbance, and then what they're talking about would add another like 2 3/4%.
Right. So, yeah, no, we are
So
not
they're going from 16.65% riverfront disturbance to 19.25% riverfront disturbance.
Right, but
Yeah.
this is a different disturbance. This is a building.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. It falls into the different sections.
So
there,
here's
when it's
so
building
here's
versus road.
So we're not going to do this all night like last time.
Okay.
So you've made your point. I appreciate it.
Well, I've got 2 other points.
I'm sure.
One of the others is that the mitigation area, as I said on that, in that little tab, is 8,000, what is it,
8,794.
Okay, that's what this area is here, and that was for this building, which you are not doing anything with the building. You're taking this area and you're putting a building in there. So you have to replace that 8,000 square feet somewhere else, because you're taking that away,
But
putting a building in
the
there.
property isn't being covered for 8,000 square feet.
No, and we are not taking
You-
that
you-
8,000 away, only taking 4,800 away, okay? The back of it remains, okay?
This should have been done already.
Well, so hold on one
Okay.
second. So just so we're all on the same page, what is the approximate square footage of the foundation area for the building?
It's, I think it's about 3,000 square feet, let me see.
Then plus
Yeah,
driveway.
Yeah, plus driveway.
4408.
Right,
Yeah.
Okay. So 4,408 feet of the area would be disturbed. Is that accurate?
Yeah, and that's for this building. Now
No,
you've got-
that's for the
yes,
building we're
that's
talking
for-
about right now.
That's for this building, and now you have to build another building, so you have to replace what you're gonna be putting in there for the other building.
Which is the
So it's the
4,000
total-
square feet.
So it's the total of the, it's the total of the 4.
No, I follow what you're saying. This 8 is for that. So this 8 goes somewhere else, and then you put in a new 4.
But it's
and
not
then he's
8.
saying
So it's
12.
gotta be
But it's
12.
not 8, it's 4.
4.
No, I understand. I just get what the
He's-
communication is. Is that what he's saying is that this footprint needs to be mitigated, and then that's a brand new footprint that needs to be mitigated for separately. So simply taking that 4 and moving it somewhere else and adding on 1,000 doesn't count.
Right.
That's what he's saying. He's saying that you're double dipping.
So what we're saying right now is that if there's 4,000 square feet that needs to be mitigated, not the entire lot is 4,000 square feet,
For the
and then
new-
there's another 4,000, that's 8,000, which DeShang is proposing to produce 10,000 of mitigation. So what you're saying is he's meeting your standard.
No, he's not. He needs to do the full for this building, and he needs to do what he's disturbing for the new building,
Right?
which comes to about 12,000.
That doesn't
And if
make
you
any
dou-
sense.
And if you double it, you don't have enough 12 over here.
But
Let
you're
me
not-
explain
you're-
to you.
Hold on, no, hold on, DeShang. So what you're saying is that you're looking for him to provide mitigation for the building that's already existing.
Right.
Okay, but that's not a requirement. What was required was mitigation for
Why
4,000.
isn't that a requirement?
There's a requirement from the original order of conditions to mitigate 4,000 square feet, correct?
No,
4,408 square feet.
No, 9,000, or the 8,000, 7, 94.
And this is all the information that I wish I had.
Yeah, no, that's what, the first, so I'm trying to clarify is we are not proposing to taking this 8,000 square feet away. If you look in this light hatch and the dark hatch, the one beyond the 100-foot riverfront line is remain untouched. So therefore, we don't take it any away. So it's not 8,000, it's 4,408 square feet. That's the one we are replacing. Okay, and we are proposing to replace it with the 10,000 square feet. Now, at the very beginning, I was trying to address your concern.
Okay, if you weren't putting it in here and you were taking 4,000 from here and you were leaving that as untouched, I would agree with you that you would have to replace 4,000. You're taking an area that's already designated and you need to recreate that over here, and then you need to recreate, this is still within the 200 foot. It doesn't change the category of it. It's still within the 200 foot, so now you're gonna disturb another 4,000. You've got to replace the 4,000
That's right,
over there.
right, plus another 4,000. That's
Right,
8,000.
so it's 12,000.
We're-
No,
we're-
it's the
I don't-
All right,
9,
so
it's the 8, and if you double it, it's 24, and you don't have anywhere near enough room for the 24 over there.
16, if you double it, it will be 16,000.
So the real issue is what was the mitigation that was required for 95, 6, and 7? Was it 8,000 or was it 4,000?
So I'm having trouble. I've been flipping through to find the 8,000 number that you're referencing. And I don't know if I'm looking in the wrong place, but I'm not finding that particular square footage in here.
Right, and on top of it, right now, I say that one is not necessary. I mean, I'm not saying 100% whether you said is right, but on the other hand, that 8,000 square feet was actually is not 8,000 square feet, was 6,896 square feet. Okay, so that's sort of the number collection, and we only take in 4,400. We only take 4,408 square feet out for this building, and they keep the rest of it untouched. So that's clear, right? So at this, I want to make sure the commission understand it. So even using, Duncan's theory, we have to double this. Okay, that means 4,408 square feet, double it 8,816 square feet, we get to put it here. And then right now, we're proposing to a 10,000. That's exceeded the 2 to 1. So is that clear now?
Mr. Brown, where do you get the 8,000 foot
It's
square
from
foot?
that report right there.
I just went through this 3 times. I'm not finding it.
The 6 that he just mentioned doesn't show up until you were talking about other things
Right.
in 2011.
Would you be so kind as to take that upstairs and
No,
copy
no,
it?
this-
right
No,
now?
I found it. I have it. I got my hopes up that it was one of the pieces that was missing that's in Deshang's letter when he
Okay.
said November. So
So let me make sure that I understand, and I'm in no way disrespecting any of your questions or points. So, because what I'd like to do is, we have a lot of information here, and I'd like to take it back and go over it. Because on one hand, I hear what Deshang is saying. On the other hand, I hear what you're saying, and I'd like to go back and do a comparison of the numbers after this hearing.
Okay.
So the first point that I heard you make, Mr. Brown, was with regard to
Building 95, 8,000 mitigation. I don't see anywhere that was written. So I need to know in the before, because as I said, if we look in that build, so this plan was not dated later than what you are trying to say. This plan was pretty early, so this is, I didn't create in this plan. I just took it, which is a July 2005. Oh yeah, let's see. Was the last revision was September 29th, 2005. So
Okay,
means
so that letter actually came out after the plan that you're using here.
This is November 22nd, 2005.
It was
Right.
done by
Mr. Brown,
Ross.
I'm going to look for it one more time, because I want to make sure that I understand. I'm just not finding that figure you gave. I'm not finding it on here anywhere.
8,000 square feet where it is. So.
I'm just not finding it. I'm not finding a line that says mitigation area and lists square footage. And I went through a couple times, so I'm doing it again.
Okay, while you're doing that,
Please make your third point.
my third point is that on your table that you have here, you're talking about doubling the cost of the foundation.
A reference, wait, just so we're on the same page, you're referencing table 1.
Yeah.
Table 1 summary. I'm
Okay.
looking at the dark area down below, and I'm looking at a 3-unit building that you had constructed. That's the 47, right?
Right.
Okay. And that was in a, is that proposed, or was that the one that you planning to do?
It's already finished. It's in.
Okay. And that was in what you're calling the good soil
No,
on the lot?
no, that's what I said. This,
Where is that in relation to the bad soil?
no, see, this is all bad soils, this whole trunking area.
Okay,
Okay, so this
Right.
is 47
yeah,
to 49.
okay.
That's one of the units, I think they built it very early, at least I remember when I was on
Point to the
site.
unit.
Okay, so you've
Point to the
already,
unit.
Yeah.
Those units? Those
Yeah.
units were in very early in the process.
Right, that's
Do you
why
remember-
they learned.
Do you remember that, Mr. Brown?
no.
Were you there for that?
No, those were built after I moved in, so they're within the last 3 years.
No,
No.
when I was there, when I first time coming to the site, early 2012, that building was built already there, so I know that.
Okay. What you said here then is that the 3s that are up above that, all the 3s that were constructed prior to that, it cost you a unit base foundation per unit, right? Base plus foundation per unit. The first 3 that shows up in your column is that 26, okay? And so the cost for the foundation for that was $10,689. The next one was 78, 10,112, 8,763, 7,319, and 8,500. Then you've already spent this money. You've already spent 11,000 per unit for the foundation for the 3 on that, and you don't show a 1, which is the other 2 that you want to move into the area where you're moving the 3 out. You don't show a 1, so we'd have to assume that the unit costs are going to be an incremental over the 1 units. So all we're talking here is $11,000 difference per foundation, that you're going through all of this rigmarole for $11,000. And I think it would be easy to show that you've already done it on 2 units in that soil, and the whole premise for your moving it into a protected area is that you're going to save $11,000 per unit. And that, to me, $33,000, you're spending more than that on all of this stuff that you're doing. Plus, you'll spend the difference on mitigation area. So economically, I can't see that you have a case to move that into that area at all.
No, you
So at this point, So at this point, unless you'd like to address the question, probably the best thing to do is let the documents speak for the documents. Mr. Brown, I'm happy to say that I found the numbers, and let me read that section if I may. This is, again, the letter from Susan Brackett, who I don't think is at David E. Ross anymore, at least we haven't seen her in a long time. She was writing this to the Secretary, Stephen Pritchard, Executive Office of Environmental Affairs, and she was writing to provide 2 complete copies of an environmental notification form. Project falls under MEPA review because it includes impervious area in excess of 5 acres and a sewer extension in excess of a half mile. The development as presented has been approved by the Ayer Zoning Board of Appeals as a comprehensive permit pursuant to Chapter 40B. A notice of intent has been filed with Ayer Concom, is currently at the hearing process. So what this letter was to Mr. Pritchard with regard to a MEPA review based on impervious area and the sewer extension. So in the project description, she notes, a notice of intent has been filed with the Air Conservation Commission and is currently in the hearing process. The existing gravel road is proposed to be upgraded to a 24-foot wide roadway within the riverfront area of Bennett's Brook. restoration/mitigation of approximately 35,000 square feet is proposed for an area adjacent to the roadway and Bennett's Brook, consisting of removal of invasive species, reestablishing loam in this area, and seeding after the upgrade of the roadway. 2 other mitigation restoration areas are proposed within the buffer of a wetland riverfront area, consisting of approximately 6,896 square feet and 8,794 square feet. These areas will be cleared of invasive species and loamed, seeded, and planted with native shrubs and trees. These areas are part of the mitigation restoration for work in the riverfront area. The alternatives considered included no build, which would leave the site in its current condition, and a different configuration of the roadway, which would have increased disturbance of the steep slopes on the property. The change in the roadway configuration was requested by the town during the hearing process, as you spoke about. So, where I'm stuck is the note says riverfront area mitigation consisting of 6,896 square feet and another area of 8,794 square feet, but neither one of those lines up with the 4,000 square foot area that we were talking about.
Well,
So
that's
how do we
what
know
he
which
said.
one is which?
The 4,000 is the new one that he's proposing, the footprint of the new building.
Yeah, I know that, so actually just pointed out to it, as I just read it over here. So that's the 6,896 square feet, this is this total area. And another one is 8,794 square feet, right?
Okay, so the
So-
2 areas are marked, but we're not in the 8,794 square foot
No.
area, we're in the
That's correct,
6,896 square foot
exactly,
area.
exactly. And then out of the 6,896, we only use 4,408 square feet.
Okay,
So that's the numbers, so.
okay,
it
so the
doesn't
mitigation is not 8,794
No, no,
square feet.
yeah.
This is the
Outside of,
6,896 square
yeah,
foot.
out of the 6,896, we only take out 4,408 square feet, and for the new units, and we are mitigating it. Originally, we are mitigating for 4,900. Right now, we agree to go even to up to 10, which will be more than double. So
Okay,
But the other point in that is that the Riverfront Protection Act has been in place for 10 years prior to that. So the 10% is a key figure in this whole thing. And the way I'm reading the Ross report there is that they've already used the 10% up.
well, I didn't see a relation to that, but I very much look forward to going back through and reading this entire report. So we have this,
Yes.
we can distribute that. DeShang, we have your report electronically
sure.
as well?
Don't mind to scan it, send it to me.
Okay, no, it's fine the way it is, it's fine the way it is.
No, he's asking for the 22nd one. as
Sure,
well.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your copy.
Yeah.
And you're gonna send us all copies of that one?
If you want them, sure.
Okay,
I got a quick comment.
please go ahead.
I'll put on my ZB hat. This did clear, the relocation units cleared ZBA. The extra 5 feet cleared ZBA to accommodate, give a little extra space for the neighbor.
Right.
And just this week, we sent a certificate of good standing concerning the comprehensive permit to the developer. They're down, their bond is widowed down to $160,000, I believe, and we're really at the tail end of this project, and the town has no problems with the developer, just for whatever that's worth. I just wanted to add that.
A certificate of what?
Certificate of good standing. They needed that. They've switched their tri-party agreement to a regular bond, and they are looking to get out of here, I think. And for what it's worth, in all projects like this, a lot of the developers' profits are going to be tied up in these units at the tail end. For what it's worth.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because, quite frankly, from the beginning, and I know, DeShang, you're here all alone to hear this discussion, but we were very disappointed with the way the project started, to the point of involving the state and getting you involved through that part of it. Since then, the project has cleaned up. The work has been substantially improved. The areas that are under work are much cleaner. I don't have to grimace when I drive through with the kids on Sundays and Saturdays, and so that's been really helpful. So this is fairly complicated in
Yes.
light of the typical application that we see. And so the appropriate thing to do is give both parties the respect that's required, and that means going through your information here, going through this report here, and there's nothing more exciting to me than spending this weekend reading about CMR 10.58, Part 5, FG, LMNOP. So I'm looking forward to going through all that and forming my own opinions and discussing it at our next meeting. Yes, ma'am.
There's one thing, you said you were missing some information.
The information that we're missing,
What are we missing?
so the information that's missing is what was the specific intent of the mitigated area. However, I feel very comfortable based on the fact that the mitigated area is referenced in this document that was submitted to the state. It says it was for mitigation of that area. So we don't have to worry that it was for mitigation of some other reason. It's purely an environmental mitigation. It's listed in this document as being the environmental mitigation. Do you agree to that?
Yes.
So the part that we were missing, because the person who was responsible for filing these documents some time ago failed in that measure, that piece that we were missing is now actually, in my mind at least, solved. Because the only question would be, what else would it be mitigated for?
Right.
And there's so few things that we could even entertain in that discussion. In this particular case, it appeared it would be for environmental impact, and it is. So there we are. Okay.
Do you need a copy of the 1058?
Oh no, in writing, in paper? Gracious.
Apparently
All
we
11
need two.
pages?
You have the whole thing with you?
I
I have two copies.
That means,
copies.
Apparently I made that one some
Well, she's
time
got the
ago.
marked up copy and the one with the little hearts on it.
No,
So
no. I have two
I've
marked
already-
up copies. I read it before. and-
if you want, I could get you a red binder, we could match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could get you a red binder, we could be all matched.
okay. So before we go any farther, Mr. Brown, one last
I
comment.
already requested that Brian read it, so hopefully he's read all of the 1058.
Yeah.
Front to back,
What are the next
11
steps?
pages. And I
It's
would
all a blur.
also like to request that the rest of the board read it, because it is very interesting, and you folks really are supposed to be protecting the riverfronts as part of your job.
Can't fall asleep, it's a good thing to read.
Right.
So the next step is we're going to continue this public hearing unless someone has an objection or any other comments or concerns. Going to continue this public hearing to January 14th. At that time, hopefully, I am assuming that, before you say anything, Mr. Brown, if I'm only because we've been talking about so many different things. So I believe in my mind that all the pieces that we need to discuss the final outcome of this project are in front of us. Do you agree, Mr. Brown?
Well, he was waiting for more from the engineers, et cetera, so.
So the things that I think we're missing are the math used to determine these areas.
Okay,
So if they did a 1-to-1, a 2-to-1, a 3.64 to 1,
sure.
and the reason they chose that, because if the 10,000 square foot throw in that ought to meet and exceed whatever that would be, but it would be good to know that we were in line with something that had already happened, and we were and then the other reason would be if there is a specific reason, such as Mr. Brown's example, like this specific spot is highlighted for a certain reason. If that's in some lost document, that would be nice to know, and it'd be nice not to accidentally tie ourselves up.
Oh yeah, no. And in fact, so the only benefit to the first point, it would be great to find out what they were using as a ratio when they said 6,000 square feet. If they were 3-to-1, if they were 2-to-1, if they were half to 1.
Yeah.
Be good to know. Let's assume at a minimum they're 1-to-1,
Right.
and we can go off of that. I think that's fair to say. I don't think they would have sent something less than 1-to-1 to the state secretary as part of a NEPA file. Is it NEPA or NEMA?
MIPA.
NEPA.
And the
We only
sheds
do
need to be
NEPA,
also,
sorry.
like,
NEPA's
2.5 to 1.
NEPA's
Right.
low grade, that's just state. That's the first part. The second part is, basically the reason that lot was picked was it was at the end.
Yeah.
So is that a fair statement from when we were meeting on this the first time? It was at the end, and at the time, I believe the discussion was that it was a less desirable lot to develop than the lots that were up on the hill, which just goes to show you what you don't know until you dig. So I know that for a fact from being in on those meetings and from walking that site.
Right.
And at the time, And I'm sorry that none of you were there. I think you would have enjoyed it. The lot, when we were up on that hill, looked like, if you were a developer, it was a developer's dream. It was a perfect place to build from. You had a nice sloping hill. You had a great place for the road to come around. You didn't have to do as much contouring as you thought you might have to do. And you were just going to dig into the sides of the hill to put the houses.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed like a really great spot to develop from a developer's point of view. That part down the bottom, that's probably wet. We'll mitigate that. And that was a whole bunch of where we came from when we were walking on that site. That tailings pond, which I agree was, I can't say 100% certain it was man-made, but it's hard to believe it wasn't because of the way that the operation was set up at the time. The way the operation was set up was they were clearly digging out of the side and they were washing off to the back. And the two roadways, one around the original driveway and this dirt road, were for trucks coming in and trucks going out. That's all it was.
Right.
So they were excavating clay and hauling it off.
So yeah, two relatively minor details that would have been nice to have smoothed out, but you know they're getting addressed and more so, which is nice. So that's what was missing and why I wanted it.
So at this point, we have the information in front of us, the exciting and effervescent 310 CMR to read, and unless there's anything else for anyone else, I'd like to continue this public hearing or hear a motion to continue this public hearing to January 14th.
I would like to throw in one comment that would make me much more comfortable with things.
Please do.
Because in the minutes that Jess was referring to, it's been a decade and no mitigation or restoration has gone forward. And it would be nice to see that get moving before, it gets given up,
So,
Well, the proposed restoration, nobody started it, and it's been 10 years, and they promised it in '05. It'd be nice to see that,
Like
if
the
we-
planting scheme is what he's talking about.
so
They've done nothing.
no, I understand, but they're not required to. Unless it's built into the order from us or ZBA, it's not a requirement. It's a requirement for the certificate of compliance.
Right.
This is one of the things that we've learned over time, is that when you start off on the project and you have a big project and you have requirements, typically, and Steve is here and he's been doing work on a very large project here in town, one of the things that happens is, what we've learned since is that we need to do these in stages. We need to mitigate, or any kind of work that we're going to do, we need to talk about having timeframes on it. Because especially like if a project gets paved right off the bat, one of the problems we ran into was if the soil isn't taken care of, but the project gets paved, all the water washes down with the soil and it runs right down, but the stormwater's not in place yet. And so those are the kind of things that we need to work in with the developers so that they build it in a process that makes sense for what we are trying to protect as well.
Right.
So in this case, mitigation would be a great thing to interject earlier in the process, to force that to happen sooner. It was not something that we were discussing in 2005, and I don't think anybody believed that this would take till 2015, but I also don't think anybody thought from 2008 to 2010 that people wouldn't be building houses, so.
Right, I was just under the assumption from a previous meeting here that the way the plantings worked is when the area around it was done being built, that the plantings would then take place. And maybe I misunderstood something because obviously I've lived there for over almost 4 years now, and nothing else has been going on down there, so one would think that that would have been taken care of then.
Sure.
So I must have misunderstood something.
Well, I think it's more along the lines of the appropriate terms are it wasn't required.
Okay.
So in general, things that aren't required happen at a different pace than things that are.
Right, as a
And I don't mean to demean that. I just mean if it's not listed as a requirement, it will happen when it happens.
Right, and the one thing the chairman is to address is when to do the mitigation. Is actually, I know in lots of towns, they will require you do the replication, but for mitigation, especially for this site, if you recall, if anything, you're going to lose in the riverfront area while the upgrading slope was still not stabilized, and you will just double the snowballing, erosion and sedimentation into the river. So therefore, it seems like to me it makes sense when you have all the vulnerable soils already stabilized and then you start doing the mitigation. That's probably what making common sense may not be. So I think that the commission at that time didn't require them to do. It could be overlooked, but could also consider, because I didn't sit through the hearing. But if you're looking at here, if anybody know, if I was there, know it's a clay mining, you better be very careful, because if it's sand mining, I would be much relaxed, because you know it's not going to generate much runoff. But if it's a clay mining, you say, wow. So far, if this is not the worst, it's one of the worst sites I have worked with. You almost have to use every techniques you can find to stabilize it. Right now, you're driving it there, you think, oh, great. But until you see this picture.
Oh, yeah, no, it was
It's a
extensive.
nightmare, so
So
every
at this
time it
point-
rains.
So at this point, I would accept a motion to continue to January 14th.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the new year. Have a happy holiday season.
Same to you.
Really,
Oh, boy.
Yeah, the 22nd, November 22nd thing. You want to hand that back to me?
I certainly do. So Jess, was this is the file copy?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. You don't mind me taking this? Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Did you print this?
I printed it.
Hey, Deshaun, do you want to glance at this now, or?
Got it again, so we recently.
Printed it again?
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of throwing away my house as well.
Yeah, the reviewed that.
Okay. All right, folks, if I may,
All right.
gentlemen, if you'd like to continue, please take it outside. I don't want to interrupt you, but
I'll introduce you to the
Okay.
packaging change.
why don't we start our 7:40 meeting? Request for certificate of compliance, DEP file number 100-0358, Crabtree Development. Steve?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Conservation Commission. Bonnie, I'll introduce myself. I haven't met you yet. I'm Steve Mulaney from S.J. Mulaney Engineering.
Hey, Steve.
I've known some of these other people for more years than I care to remember.
You're welcome.
Not bad, right?
Just kidding. I think it's been about 6 months since I was last in front of you, so I've spared you. Okay, this is lot 58.
Can you remind me where that is?
That is 26 Hemlock Drive.
Can you
So,
remind me where that is graphically?
if you are looking, if you are at the Littleton Line Apartments and you're
Yes.
facing the road that's directly opposite Littleton Line Apartments,
Perfect.
this is the second lot on the left.
Okay. Is that next to Rue? No.
That woman?
That lady.
Rosemary?
No, Rosalie
Bucci.
Bucci,
Bucci.
she's on Hickory.
Hickory,
The
that's
one
right,
opposite
that's right.
Bennett's Crossing.
It's all the personal touch. That's what makes this board special.
What are we starting with? Which one did I put first?
58.
58.
All right. Hickory Hill, lot 58.
So we have submitted our request for a certificate of compliance for this lot. This lot and the lot next to it, lot 59, and the lot next to it, parcel E, also known as Lot N, the commission had requested be developed all at the same time, which they were. Last spring, we came in with a request for a certificate of compliance for parcel E. We walked the site last spring and the commission issued that certificate.
That's the one farther up the hill.
That's the one that fronts on Littleton Road.
Oh, okay. Right.
The house still hasn't sold yet.
So the house that hasn't sold, I gotcha.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Okay, so this is the one with the culvert under the driveway.
No,
Or is that
the
the
one
next?
covered on the driveway is the one right on the corner.
Okay. And then,
We have not submitted that one yet because that one required wetland replication and we have to wait another growing season to make sure everything took root.
Gotcha. So
before
this
we
is the
can
house
request.
just up from
This is the
that.
one just up from that.
okay.
And
A lot of it's by feel, Bonnie.
we submitted a letter along with our as-built plan explaining what changed on this particular lot. In this case, what we did on this blow-up is try to superimpose the as-built, which is the darker line work, onto the proposed plan, which is the lighter line work. This is where the house had originally been proposed. The house actually has a somewhat smaller footprint, but it is
Yeah.
pushed a little bit more into the buffer zone. The buffer zone line is right here, the wetland system is over here. So looking at my notes here, the extent of work in the buffer zone was increased
So that's the plan, and that's the as-built.
from 5,900 square feet to 10,900 square feet. But the distance of the work to the wetlands was closer.
This one.
The house depth in total is 34 feet rather than 28, but that depth is occurring outside the buffer zone. They added a row of boulders to demarcate the front lawn to separate it from the wetlands. This was a lot that didn't require it, so that was an add-on. And the driveway previously was supposed to be at the northerly end of the house. They installed it at the southerly end of the house. This is all work in the buffer zone.
So basically, it's not what we approved, and it's as bad as it could be based on the fact that
It's shifted, yeah.
I see. Shifted.
And you left out the
It's
backyard
shifted.
too.
Backyard. Well, the backyard is outside the buffer zone.
Oh, the 25-foot thing?
On this particular lot, I don't believe this one.
I thought that one had that. Here, I'll double check.
Do you know what the rationale
Oh, yes,
was?
it did. It said the 25
Yep.
backyard corner.
What was the rationale for moving the driveway?
But the rationale, it was probably, I'm the engineer, I'm not the builder. I presume it was the buyer's choice on a house style is
Oh.
the rationale for moving it.
So, I don't believe I'm wasting my breath to say that that would have been a perfect time to return to the commission and ask to do an amendment to the notice of intent and the order of conditions as issued. And so that's disappointing that that didn't happen. Hold on a second.
Did
Were you
Bill-
in there the whole time?
Yeah.
All night?
For a while, yeah.
Oh, have a nice night.
I apologize that Rick Roper, the developer, is not here tonight. He had a death in his immediate family, so he
Oh.
was unable to come.
Sorry to hear that. Okay. So we haven't walked this, so we need a site walk. You did walk it? Okay. I'd like to walk this one specifically because I'd like to form an opinion on how disappointed or not disappointed I am by the shifting of the house and the relocation of the driveway. Did you have an opinion from your walk?
Fairly disappointed, yeah.
He called me and was talking enforcement orders, blah, blah, blah.
I would like to do sidewalk, but I don't need a sidewalk to know that I'm disappointed.
Oh, well, that's excellent. I just like to gauge my level.
I mean, if you want to be technical about it, so I actually went along and wrote up an enforcement order on the whole thing because of being cranky. But let's see, we broke condition 51, 24, 29, 31, 41, 12, 13, and 37.
That's substantial. I guess I'm just really disappointed. I don't know that we've met on any project as much as we've met with Mr. Roper on this project, and if anyone would know that this was an inappropriate way to treat a notice of intent and order of conditions, it's Mr. Roper. So I guess I'm flummoxed.
I mean, that driveway that they put in actually goes up a hill. The driveway, as it was planned, was actually in a much flatter grade, and like the rock wall thing, it's like one big boulder, and then like it's almost like the Three Bears, like it just descends to the last boulder, kind of being like this. And you know, the backyard was supposed to be limited to 25 feet, and God only knows, I don't think my tape measure would go that far. I've got like a 300-footer. You know, it's a long way up to the back trees.
The driveway as proposed previously was also going up a hill. So the steepness is really no different. It's just shifted laterally.
Just tip it. No, up
Yep.
there.
Fair enough. So that was just my anger coming through in the topo lines.
Yeah, it's this lot,
Right.
and it's simply, instead of being there, it's right here.
So yes, it's right there, but it's significantly closer to the flags and the actual.
But just as that driveway, as proposed, was pitched to the road to go into the street drainage system,
Pass that down.
Yeah.
the driveway as built as the same.
Okay.
So the as-built and the original without the overlay.
It'd help if I was on the one for 58, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
This one doesn't. This is 38. Promise. Street I, is that Hemlock or Hickory?
No, I've got lot 58.
Right. This
Yeah.
is lot 38.
Fair enough.
If this.
No problem. I
this
just want
is-
to turn to the right page.
This is the plan that's associated with lots 58, 59, 61, and 62.
Yeah, I've got sheet 4 of 21.
That just means that in all the paperwork, moving and shuffling, we moved and shuffled. Let's see, which one is this?
Can you go back to the other page, please, below?
Make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, that one.
Street J was the previous name before it was given the name Hemlock.
Sure. So this is goofy. So if I were to align this house as shown for
That's the
58.
wetland down there.
Oh, wait, no, certainly. But see the structure? So on the blow up, Steve shows a structure that's significantly out of the buffer.
The plan that you have, that's not the final plan for lot 58.
Okay.
The proposed plan.
The original proposed plan had the house significantly farther into the buffer zone, pretty much like what you built now.
No, it was worse.
Well, I will give you that. But it's more in the direction of what is there now than what was decided upon and approved.
This was the final plan that was approved by the board.
Okay.
When did we approve that?
I believe it was in the spring of 2013.
Yeah, lot 58. Okay, good. I'm nervous. I did hand you the right package. I handed you the right package. Yeah,
Oh yeah, no, you did hand me the right package. I just had to turn the page to the right page. That's all.
Oh, yeah, you're ruining me here.
That.
When would the commission like to do a sidewalk?
So you missed it earlier. We have a site walk on Saturday morning, which I think is going to take us about an hour and starts at 9. But I'm not sure that I'm able to do anything after it. That's the only thing I'm concerned about.
While he's checking his calendar, Steve, the nearest point to the BBW is now 7 feet. Where?
That's where the stones were, the boulders were installed.
The boulders, okay.
Yeah, right over here.
And those boulders delineate what?
They're listing the edge of lawn. That's what it's delineating over there.
Okay, so the lawn is now 7 feet.
Or the boulder itself is. The lawn's just not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. It looks like I have time open on the 25th, and it's a holiday. So,
You're right.
I'm free. We've met on Thanksgiving Eve before,
we absolutely did. All those silly people who go home for that kind of stuff.
2004. George was there.
My goodness, I thought that was a joke.
No, it's not just an urban legend.
Harsh reality.
Took a lot of crap for that. So I guess I'm torn. Are folks available if we did an hour? Oh, sorry, John. It's actually if we did an hour walk over here. Does anybody? You stole mine. Does anybody have? Does anybody have the ability? How many are we talking? 4?
4.
Okay.
And they're
So
all, one is on Snake Hill Road, the other 3 are all near each other.
okay. So in a rating of 1 to egregious, with this being egregious, where do the other fall?
Oh, they're middle of the road. They're the usual suspects. They didn't put in the boulder delineating the line of work in the backyard.
So they're from perfect angina, egregious. They're angina.
One of them's perfect. All work was done outside the buffer zone.
Wow, nailed it.
That's not X.
I wrote up the certificate of compliance for that one.
Were you going to do that one last?
I think that's the sequence that Brian put them in.
Okay. No, I'm just making sure.
End on a high note.
I went from hardest to easiest.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm just really disappointed.
You haven't even seen the other two. Maybe I should have done this the other way around, like worked up to mass disappointment instead of starting you off disappointed.
No, I had an expectation of tonight, not your projects.
I'm just a messenger.
Ready, aim.
I'm used to it.
All right. I don't know if folks have time this week. I just don't. I know what's going to happen if I do. Henry has driver's ed. And if I get stuck on a site walk and he misses driver's ed,
What time's his driver's ed?
well, he's supposed to be in Westford at, it's either 11 or 11:30.
Can we go earlier?
Well, we can. We're talking about a short amount of time walking. The house, of course, is occupied.
These are pretty straight shots. You can see most of what you're going to be discussing from a parked car.
Yeah, we can still go on this lot, which hasn't sold yet.
Sure.
You can see from
I think that's where we walked the last time, didn't we? We
did.
probably walked
We
right
came-
out.
We walked out this utility.
Yeah.
Yeah, we looked up at this slope.
Do you have the stomach for an 8 o'clock walk?
Come on, George, you can do it.
Yeah.
George, you can sleep until 7 and then...
I can do this with
Can you make 8 a.m.?
Get in.
Right. Brian, you've already seen these. I won't force you to come, but if you're interested, you are certainly welcome, of course, sir.
I think I got the tone pretty well established here. Here, hand me back that letter so I can try to keep track of these.
Absolutely.
This is an awful little paperwork nightmare.
Okay. I think what I'd like to do is have the site walk, and at that time, further any discussions to the next meeting as far as any kind of repercussions.
Could we just, before we do the site walk, go over the next two lots that are problematic, just so we know what to look for?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
No. All I'm suggesting is that
We don't discuss repercussions.
right. And all I'm saying is that at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'd like to show up here.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Yeah.
in the nature of that, I would like to accept a motion. I would accept a motion to continue this public hearing to January 14th. Public meeting. Does it even fall under meeting?
No.
But,
What do you do?
no, it's just a request for certificate of compliance, so
What do you do in Groton? Becky always
For what?
called it a discussion.
it's just a discussion.
Yeah.
I would like to
It's
accept
an
a motion.
administrative action, but it's not, there's no requirement for a public hearing or
Right.
a
Or meeting.
legally noticed public meeting. As long
Okay.
as it's posted on the agenda purposes,
It's on.
it's on.
So, George.
There is a requirement, I believe, for, once they submit the request, that you have to at least take it up within 21 days, whatever the,
Okay.
uh,
So administratively, we're on par. If I say, hey, George, you want to talk about this on the 14th?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds moved? Perfect. Okay. So we'll see you on Saturday morning for DEP file number 100-0358, and we'll discuss this again on the 14th of January.
All right, 5-4.
Okay. The next one, yes, is 100-0354. It is lot 6123 Hemlock Drive, ostensibly up the street.
Okay. We are diagonally across the street.
Okay?
Oh, no, actually, I'm sorry, directly across the street. We are directly across the street. This light gray box is where the house was proposed, and this black box is where it was built.
So it's moved back.
Shifted a few feet back, shifted a few feet north. The buffer zones are here and here. The house is outside the buffer zone. The actual extent of activity of work in the buffer zone was reduced by 9%. The extent of driveway in the buffer zone was reduced by 70%.
Thank you.
The rear yard depth was reduced by 9 feet. The house depth was increased to 33 feet where this jog is over here.
What was the yard depth?
The rear yard depth was reduced by 9 feet.
From what to what though? I mean, just, so this was, visually, it looked like from the back wall to the boulders was bigger than the house itself.
What had been proposed had been further back. And
When you say what had been proposed was further back.
this is where the limit of work line was proposed.
Mhm.
This is where the clearing line is in the buffer zone.
And is that line of circles the stone wall?
That's what was proposed for the wall, which was not installed. I spoke with the builder, and he said the homeowners really don't want a wall. So I told the developer that, as the commission knows, we've tried different things on different lots. We've tried fences, and I believe the last lots that were processed last year, lots 29 and 30 on Holly Ridge, the commission decided to do signs. And I believe we discussed with respect to lot 62 that the only way that you could make a change now from what the order called for, which was boulders or fences, to signs, would be to reconvene a hearing to modify the order conditions.
Right.
So I believe that that's what the developer would like to do, because he's got a homeowner that really doesn't want to have boulders in the backyard. This particular lot has drainage easement going back to a stormwater basin to the rear.
Okay, so as I understand it, the house is shifted slightly from where it was supposed to be.
Okay.
The
All
area
outside the
of
buffer.
cleared, right, thank you. Right, well, so it's more in the middle between two buffer zones.
Yeah.
Okay. The area that was cleared, that was planned to be cleared is less
Yes.
in actuality.
Yes.
And the row of boulders that were a requirement to keep them from building in that area were not in place. And
And the extended driveway in the buffer zone was reduced.
so this was that, I remember this now. So
This is the lot where we met the homeowner, the gentleman, and where
we walked around the back of the
on
house.
the back of the house. Yeah.
Sure. But when we were doing these walks the first time, this was the house that had the huge pile of soil in it when we walked these the first time after the trees had been cleared, because then we walked around back to get to the drainage easement to get to the area that was in the back. Okay. Remember? Big pile of dirt?
I probably didn't walk around the back with him.
I think you didn't.
Right.
Okay.
So I guess I would ask if, just as we did with Snake Hill Road order last spring, where we advertised the hearing, in that case, it was to eliminate the requirement for the old Snake Hill Road to be continued as a walking trail.
Right.
I would ask that we advertise a hearing at the applicant's expense, of course, to reconsider the condition for the boulders and instead to substitute the condition for the sign like we did on lots 29 and 30.
So I'm in agreement with that. What I'd like to do is, since it's across the street from the other one, why don't we visit the
Sure.
two while we're out there, and then go from there. Okay. So at this point, this is lot 61, 23 Hemlock. The house is shifted, however, it's more in between two buffer areas than shifted more toward one than the other. So, and our boulder question is really our biggest issue.
Well, and the other, and this is there's the upslope one and the downslope one, right? The next one we're doing is lot 62?
Which is upslope.
Okay,
Right.
good.
No, it's 63, actually, it's two lots.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because it's silly.
This was in the reasonably flat area before you started to drop down the hill. I remember it from when we walked it back when it was a dirt road and dirt piles back in goodness knows when.
So anyway, the concern that I had on that side of the street was with the, more southerly of these, because and again, assuming that I'm not mixing up my paperwork and swapping files by accident, it appeared that was also another 25-foot backyard, and it looked like the backyard was, well into the 40 and 50-foot yard.
It's not this lot. This is where the edge of clearing lines up, and that's where the edge of clearing was proposed to be. So
Yeah, and this one, if we had a row of boulders, Brian, so what we were attempting to do at the time was effectively assist the new homeowner with an understanding of an area that could be lawn and an area that wasn't supposed to be lawn. And we've talked about fences, rose bushes, rocks,
And I think
signs.
we've tried each. We started with the fences on the Snake Hill Road lots.
Yeah, we've got a good mix.
Well, okay, but what I'm saying is that according to the order conditions that were written up, the two of them seem to be working at cross purposes.
Okay.
Because this one has a row of boulders or fencing as proposed on the lot plan demarcating the rear yard limit along the drainage easement line parallel to and closest to the rear wall of the house.
Okay.
This condition shall, survive. And the one above it is house conditions or house dimensions. The house shall be set back no more than 36 feet from the right-of-way. The maximum depth of the house shall be 28 feet, and the maximum depth of the backyard clearing shall be limited to 25 feet. And the rocks were set back further than 25 feet, assuming that in the right backyard.
But the restriction is in the buffer zone area, not the entirety of the backyard, because that's where the jurisdiction stops.
Okay. Because the backyard clearing at 25 feet thing is where, and that's why I'm double checking, because the downslope, like the upper lot, really, it looks tight and tidy, but the downslope one,
This is the downslope lot.
right, that looks like, you get out into like 40 and 50 feet of backyard, and
Well,
But that's
if
outside the
you're right. You would see 40 or 50 feet of backyard because the boulders didn't break that in half. If the boulders were in place, that would have given you approximately what the numbers you're reviewing from the plans or from the filing. So figure the house is 30 feet. 30. How deep is the house?
33 feet.
33 feet. So right now, from the back of that house to the boulders is about 35 feet. So that was all in that same, let's call it, area. The idea was that the boulders were to control work that would then happen down slope, so that folks didn't just continue making their lawn, dumping their leaves, making their lawn.
well, right, which is the 25-foot thing that I'm bringing up.
No, exactly. So you're on exactly the right path.
Yeah.
So let's use the expression that 25 feet in that area was fungible. It's about 25 feet. But the idea was that the boulders were to go at the toe of at that slope.
Mhm.
And so that was the point of the boulders, was to go at the edge of the slope and say, stop here. So if we don't have anything that says stop here, then we need to go take a look at it and figure out what's the next thing that says stop here.
Yeah.
I did like those rose bushes, but
Yeah. It's the thing where the boulders appear to be a stop here demarcation at well past 25 feet. But I don't know if that 25 feet really was supposed to be from the house itself or from some other, line.
so that would be
proverbial.
I
But
think
the
that's the
purpose of
next
the boulders
application,
is-
because these boulders aren't
Yeah.
here. This is the site without any boulders. Isn't that what we're saying? These boulders
The
are not in place.
downslope one, this is why I keep double checking to make sure
Sure.
that did have boulders. The upslope one lacked boulders.
So this has boulders.
When we did the as-built plan, it did not have the boulders. And I spoke to Rick Roper by phone yesterday, and he said the owner didn't want them. So unless he was confused which lot, to my knowledge, the boulders hadn't been put in. But maybe
And you
they
remember
are.
the boulders
We'll
being there?
we'll see on
Now,
that.
now
I
to be
saw
fair,
that.
it's
Yeah.
really easy to mix up the houses.
Right, which is, you hear me.
Okay, so we're gonna have a sidewalk.
Yes, this will be cleared up. Anyway, that was
Yeah.
just another one of the. So when I wrote up the enforcement, that's one of the numbers that went in for both counts because the house was too big and the yard was too big according to the way it was written.
Okay,
But again, the commission's jurisdiction is limited to the buffer zone, and this whole area of their yard is outside the buffer zone. The intent of putting any boulders back there was so that they wouldn't go way back here
Right.
and get back into the buffer zone towards the wetlands.
So maybe that condition was
Well,
poorly
I think
phrased.
the condition was repeated from other notices, or I
Oh,
mean,
you think it was
other
just a
other
cut
orders
and
and
paste?
conditions, because if you read them from order to order, we've had over 30 orders in this project for
That makes more
various
sense.
lots.
I would suggest exactly that, and that the way that we worked it as we went through was the plan. So as you can see, and this isn't as built, of course, but obviously it's appropriate. The idea was to create a fairly level backyard, which is obvious from the topo, and then halt it with a row of borders, and then let the natural topography take over. So that's what was happening here. So 25 feet, 71 feet, that would be different, but we're talking 25 to 40. I'm sure that's where it came from. Okay, so in keeping with our past thing, our past plan on this, Bonnie, would you like to talk about this on the 14th?
Yes,
Excellent.
I would.
So we'll continue this to then, and we will have a site walk
Brilliant. So then
on,
Takashi, mind handing that back, and I'll re-pin it.
sir, and we'll have a site walk on the, what's tomorrow? 10, 12, 11, 12, it's 12.
12, day after 12.
Yeah, right.
It's almost tomorrow, isn't it?
We're getting there.
The way
Definitely
these-
trying.
The way these have been going, we're getting there. Okay. So why
See,
don't
I
we?
warned you, right?
Why don't we discuss?
Oh, I
Why don't we discuss the certificate of compliance request for DEP file number 100-0356? Now, this is 2 houses up the
This
street.
is 2 houses up the street, so you have a letter for this one.
Which one was much nicer? Because I saw the other two first. I got worried.
This one, the extent of driveway in the 100-foot buffer zone was reduced by 7%. The house footprint was reduced by 10%. And this was another case of, when we did our as-built topo, the boulders went in, but we'll see on Saturday if by some miracle they were there. This lot also has the drainage easement in the back. This was the original house footprint. This was the actual house footprint. There, it's kind of like a mirror image, the way it was put in, and it's basically covering the same area.
Yeah. This one only had 6 broken OCs as opposed to the 8 or 9 on the other two.
What are the 6?
Most of them are little ones. The one that miffed me was that Becky was quite good at keeping paper records. That was not something I've ever really run into a problem inheriting. And all of these say that, the homeowners need to give the Conservation Commission something written and signed saying you've seen this and have it and know what you just bought. And I don't have any of those.
Oh, the affidavit.
The affidavits.
The affidavits. So, just so that you understand, as we got about partway through the project, partway being 5 or so years, at one point there was, I'll go all the way to kerfuffle. There was a kerfuffle. And during that kerfuffle, the DEP got involved and we began to push back to say, so we're missing all this paperwork and we hadn't been asking for it. We were expecting it to come about and now we're not expecting anymore. You must make it come about or you're not going to get any more orders of conditions. And so at that point, the owner of the project, through his attorney, whose office is much nicer now in Chelmsford. Have you ever been there?
It's not to the new office, no.
Well, it's their original office, but they tore the fire department down in front, so now you can see it. Iliopolis, the Iliopolis
And Iliopolis.
and Iliopolis. Their attorney came, he began to process letters to the folks who had bought the houses and said, hey, not for nothing, when you bought the house, you were supposed to sign this, please sign it. What's our return rate?
See my list.
I think we had, like,
We had
Pretty bare minimum, huh?
We had, I think, at least half a dozen that came back, and then we had at least one that refused.
2. Nick?
Can you refuse?
Yes,
No,
because you didn't sign it at the
Nick
closing.
did not require one.
Ah,
His was an older order of conditions before that requirement was put in.
but he was certainly refusing something,
Yes, but you
just not your affidavit.
you eventually issued a certificate of compliance for his last spring.
We worked with him.
We did successfully. But there's a certain house on Old Farm Way that
Yes.
we're all acquainted with. That one
So
refused.
we have one refusal.
Yeah.
And so six in, 1 refused out of how many
That-
total required?
Well, let me clarify that, because you've issued some orders on, for which no initiation of work has begun, so you really
Sure,
can't
sure,
count
sure,
those
sure.
yet. But for those that you issued, I think we're about half and half. 6 out of 12, because we
That's what I remember.
we
the
ran
number
through
being.
about a dozen certificates of compliant inspections about a year ago.
Right.
And they trickled in, and then the attorney, we reported back periodically through the course of the winter and spring, and finally we gave you everything that we could get, and we sent certified letters to the attorneys that
Right.
represented the buyers when they bought their properties, and to no avail getting back. With regard to this lot and the other 2 lots, the one we just saw, the 2 that we just looked at, rather, I have a request into Phil Eliopolis's office. I'm waiting to hear back on where those affidavits are, because they all know full well that you will not issue any certificates until those affidavits are in.
Right. So are you familiar with how this affects, for instance, their ability to sell their house later?
Yeah, because I've done those partials that have come in. They
Right.
need them to move on in the world, so to speak.
Well, actually, as it turns out, thanks to the fact that for every 100 attorneys, there's one at the top of this class and one who isn't. We have done multiple.
Doesn't stop them from being an attorney.
We have had multiple houses that have gone through multiple sales, and there was never a certificate of compliance, and somehow it was missed in the closing documentation, and houses were sold, and there were outstanding issues.
That was in the hot and fast times of easy money and good music.
Sadly, that would be good, but no. No, it just turns out that not everyone is thorough, is I guess the right way to put it.
I guess that happens.
Yeah.
I'll shed a tear.
Well, there will always be one wheel on one shopping cart that will squeak and annoy everyone. Anyway, so Steve, this one sounds promising. So, why don't we catch this on Saturday morning? And hey, Takashi, would you like to talk about certificate of compliance for DEP 100-0356 on the 14th?
Weather looks fine.
Well, so let's continue this to 114 and let's address certificate of compliance request for DEP file number 100-0269.
Sign away.
This lot, X marks the spot on Snake Hill Road. This was a lot that the order did not require an as-built plan, so instead we give you an as-built photo.
Thank
and
you.
We superimpose what the design was, and if you can orient yourself here, this is the new Snake Hill Road to the east.
Mhm.
This is where the old Snake Hill Road was.
Ah,
This house was built smack on the old Snake Hill Road. The house
Yikes.
had been proposed to be built further back. This yellow line, the yellow shading, indicates the 100-foot buffer zone. And as you can see from the photo, instead of the house and yard being here, they moved everything through here. So they kept all of the work for this lot outside the buffer zone.
fantastic.
And this house
Wow.
is the reason that Steve is here. Because I called him because I didn't know which Snake Hill Road was which in the various plans and in Lot X. And so there's on Snake Hill Road to the right, there are the houses below it. And I was convinced that they were built onto Lot X on the original Snake Hill Road.
Sure.
And I was like, you've got 4 houses, I've got 1 Lot X, it says 50 Snake Hill Road, there's a mailbox up there that says 50. That teeny little easement doesn't really show well on the tiny documents where everything gets compressed.
Mm.
And so then he was like, hey, what are you talking about? Anything gonna happen? I was like, well, maybe. And this is scheduled for after that, show we already had. And I was like, they may not be in the greatest mood. I don't know.
So you put this one last? Good thinking. That's
I think I found this one last too, so that
that's
probably helped.
generous. That's generous. Yeah, it's too bad we don't meet on Fridays, right? That's the day to give crappy news. Okay, so I have no problem signing this right now, as long as you're comfortable with the fact that we'll probably swing by on Saturday morning and peek at it.
Yeah.
Anybody
This,
have any
this
issue
one
with that?
did not require an affidavit, I don't believe, but this was one of the older.
Right.
One of the older
This is
orders.
one of the original fine prints.
Wonderful. Okay,
One of the 2005
Yep.
orders.
if you don't mind, I'm going to handwrite in the DEP file number up here. Remember the first time I found out how lucky we were to get 100. Just thought all DEP files were 100 dash something, and then I realized that it was based on the town, where 100 versus other towns are 65 or 21 or whatever.
Does that mean Ayer was the 100th town in the Commonwealth?
That is an interesting question, but I don't know what they based it on. I'm assuming there was dice. All right.
Random number
It's
generation.
definitely not by
No.
that. Because Groton's 169.
Yeah, it's not alphabetical. It's not based on when our commission was formed. None of that. No.
So no reason at all.
State
Nice.
of Massachusetts.
Brilliant.
Okay. I would accept a motion to approve the certificate of compliance based upon the information presented for DEP file number 100-0269.
So moved. Second with just a question.
Sure.
Brian.
Go ahead.
So Brian, you're good with this one?
Oh yeah, it's a woodlot basically. The old road is you can barely tell it's there. It's lovely. Other than that one house at the top corner,
It's a different discussion to be held off camera. So,
no, that's the house he's talking about.
Everyone knows the house you mean. Everyone.
Hey.
Everyone. Excellent. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. So you'll see how this goes when we go walk one of these sites. So you've seen the beginning of the process, and then you'll see the end.
And
Kind of fun.
Exciting.
just to
That's what I'm
remind
saying.
the commission, I believe that there were still 3 certificates from earlier in the year that we were still holding. One of them was Lily Wilson's on Deer Run.
Right.
Another was the Anudas on Old Farm Way, which I know
There's discussions going on.
involved some DEP actions there. And the last one was lot 62, which is in between the 2 lots we're looking at on Saturday, 61 and 63.
Why were we holding that one again?
Because that one needed a fence or boulders in the back.
Ah, yes. Have those
Yeah.
been installed?
I believe that's probably the lot that they were installed on.
So you're hoping.
Yeah. Because I know there was an awful lot, and just remember this, there was an awful lot of interaction back and forth with Lori from Powell on this back in the spring. Around the time there was a little dispute with the contractors, between the developer and the contractors.
So
Okay.
Powell stayed on, huh?
Powell had a contract commitment to everything they had started,
Oh, okay.
so that's why they're still involved.
Lot 62, what's the street address?
62 is 37 Hemlock Drive.
All right. So
100-0355 is the file number.
So here's the recommendation I'm going to make. So we can either park on the street outside of these houses, which are all effectively within 100 yards of each other, right? Maybe 200 yards. Or we can park in the driveway for the house that hasn't sold. Since there's no snow or any other reason and it's going to be a clear sunny day, I suggest we just park on the road on Hemlock and meet. We'll go to the first house.
Which house is that? The first one on the corner from 2A? On the
Yeah,
left?
so you've got the house that still has the sign in front of it.
Okay.
Okay, you come around the corner, you've got the house on the corner, and there's a bunch of rocks right over where they're starting. They appear to be doing some landscaping, which we should talk about when we're there. And then the next house
I
is
think
the,
it's probably one of those entrance walls like they have on Snake Hill Road and on Hickory.
yeah. I was hoping when I saw it.
Yeah, I believe that's what it is.
So we'll start right there at that first house. Then we can just slow down as we drive by the one on Snake Hill. Okay,
Sounds like a plan.
wonderful. Steve, thank you very much. See
Thank
you
you
on
for your
Saturday
time.
morning at 8 o'clock. Make sure I've got that in my phone.
That's the spring. It's going to be 60 degrees Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Ho, ho, ho.
not then. What?
Your pen
What happened?
exploded.
Oh, no.
What happened?
There's,
It just
it exploded.
Just,
I went to push the top and it hit Bonnie.
Oh, no, it didn't hit me.
but the reality is, exploded in this case is not the bad exploded.
No,
There
It
is
just-
ink all over the laptop.
it gave up. It just
That was
It just decided fundamentally fed up with being together.
Have a good night.
Done.
You too, Steve. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
responded to this meeting the way everybody else should have responded to this meeting.
From the Rotary, just take a left on Hemlock, head up the road.
Yeah. So you'll go up Hemlock, and so remember you come around the corner and there's the house with the culvert, and you can see the culvert on the left as you go up the hill. It's the next house, is the first one. Okay. Why don't we discuss our geosyntech draft report comprehensive study survey of Ayers Ponds invoice?
I've also got another piece of paperwork for you that I think administratively is okay to pursue, but might have to actually post it. I don't know. A certificate of compliance that was requested like 10 years ago that you guys did a site walk on, and then the ball drop. It was for 10, the Mandry, where they did the fire pit that we just did for the RDA that she was in a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, no, we did that one.
No, you
Remember
didn't. Never finished.
Is it still on their, in the registry on their deed?
Yeah, I've got it. I brought it with me.
That's
Are you
weird.
saying it was never issued to them?
Right. There was a site walk,
I remember it because we did it with those people when they moved in. They wanted
and
to do a walk.
then you guys said, "All right, give us a buzz when you do the rest of the job," and they just never got back in touch. And so there was an outstanding request, and the registry didn't have anything. And I actually spoke to her. I said, "Hey, did this ever happen?" She goes, "Oh yeah, no, we didn't do that. You're right." And so, if you guys think that signing that would be all right, I can close that file out, so to speak.
I don't see any reason why not to. We've just been there recently. I don't think there were any problems.
No, it was fine.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So Geosyntex, so here comes the tricky part. So we owe them $16,000 left out of $83,000. So the only question that obviously comes up is, if we're gonna go back to them and ask for more stuff or corrections to what we've got, and Brian, we had a vigorous debate the other night, thank you. What's this one for? Oh, for that, sure. What was the DEP file number for it?
It should be on it. I think it's on the front.
Yep, 152. Oh yeah, 7 C's Realty Trust.
Yeah, those guys seem like quality individuals.
Huh.
Dropped that ball and ran.
Yeah, they're not. Okay, but they're also effectively out of business. So we have things we want them to do. We talked about breaking up sections, things that we wanted them to complete. I guess I'm not comfortable paying this, although I did not realize that this has a date on it of November 17th. But I guess that is after we met at last, isn't it? Wasn't that clear?
Well, yeah, we met.
Well,
Just feels like forever ago because that's Jacob's birthday. So,
was it a productive discussion, or was there disagreement about,
no. It was productive. It came to I think the general feeling was. Thank you. I think the general feeling was that there's a lot of information, and we felt like what we really need to do is say, we want this pond to look like this, and this pond to look like that, and this pond to look like this. So tell us what to do to get there. Paint by numbers. How do we make this happen? I guess I'm concerned that based on what we're looking for, that paying them in full might impede our ability to complete the report in the way we were looking for.
Which seems like a reasonable expectation.
Unfortunately, it does. All right. I'd like to hold this till our next meeting. You have any thoughts?
Fine.
Jess?
That'd be fine. And we are all supposed to give you our comments on our sections of the report.
Yeah, what did we agree to?
In 2 weeks. You already.
I
I sent you mine.
He's the only good pen.
Takashi
Oh,
and
here.
George. You sent them yours.
He's the one with
In the next week, because then you were going to have a quieter period. You were going to put everything together. And
Yeah, that was supposed to start this week. That was funny. Right, so we came up with five parts to our plan. Number one, Chuck is going to work on ways that we can fund retreatment right off the bat. Number two, Geosyntec, getting back to them with changes. Number three, talking to Geosyntec for a general 5-year plan. A lot of this is wait and see, take a look and do, figure out what you want based on what the conditions are. We wanted a 5-year plan. I'm going to approach the Board of Selectmen with that 5-year plan and use that to drive a funding discussion. And then last but not least, line item on the annual budget, which I think is fair to call a wish list.
And did you see all the budgetary emails that I sent out in the last week or two?
yeah.
Budget's due Friday. Next.
Friday tomorrow?
No, that'd be cruel.
So I saw in here, you have a copy of the budget? Or is that just our state of the state?
The one is the status, and I put in there the one hard copy that they gave, and there were 3 or 4 different budget-related emails that I forwarded on to both of your emails, directly your town and the one you actually look at. You're looking at me funny though, so that may not be true in your case.
No, I did see some.
Okay.
Yeah, I did too.
But yeah, that
Certain I
is
have
due
that
on
email.
the 18th.
Address.
I resembled the comment about the one that you use and the one that you actually look at, so that's why I was looking at you. And I admit that I didn't read through the stuff, so did they provide you with
Any hints?
Yeah, or even just,
No, nothing. I mean,
You know,
it's all guidance on
a red line that you shall not cross.
Well, yes, actually.
Oh,
in a
yeah,
way.
actually, yes, yeah.
It says number one, prepare and submit a level funded from
Yeah.
fiscal year 2016, fiscal year 2017 budget request to the town accountant by no later than 12 p.m. on Friday, December 18, 2015. If you don't turn it in, we'll take 10%. Please use the attached budget submittal.
No.
Please use the attached budget submittal sheet as provided by the town accountant. Any budget
So essentially,
the
do you want me
budget
to
is
copy
submitted sheet.
paste last year's budget?
seems pretty simple considering it's level funded. The only thing that really alters in our budgeting would be salary. And since you're roped to a certain number of hours,
Actually,
matter.
turns out, this is according to Kevin, because I was putting
Kevin,
Kevin, right? Over in HR? Like,
Kevin Johnston?
He replaced Melissa.
oh, that's what I didn't understand.
Oh,
Sorry.
fair enough. Because I was putting 19 and a half hours down for a couple of weeks, and it was actually 19, thinking it was just below 20. And when I went in all apologetic, he was like, oh, don't worry, you get paid out of a certain fund. You've been approved. The salary for the year was approved. And so you can dip into money that wasn't used and no loss. So,
As long as you don't go over 20 hours.
No, he said that was okay, actually.
no, well,
Didn't he?
right, 20 hours in a week is okay, as long as I'm under, 38 for the pay period. Or no, as long as I'm under 40 for the pay period. And I was coming in at 39 rather than what I was supposed to be coming in at 38. But it didn't matter because there was a bunch of leftover money from, 6 months of not having staff.
No, that part I get. 6 months of unpaid hard work staff. So, this is like, okay.
Can we
so
buy her cake? You guys can approve that,
into her
right?
heart there.
I think what's important to mention here
Is that in our level funded budget?
Well, no, we'd have to use it before the next.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So, stepping backwards, as long as he says that's what's allowed, then that's great. But, boy, 7 years of don't come close to 20 hours, and yes, it absolutely matters. I guess it's just hard to push that out of my head and say, oh, good, this new guy must be right. So
No, I didn't touch 20. But according to, like, let's say tonight, if I do a 7 and a 7, and then tonight ends up being like another 7, he's fine. It doesn't bother him. There's no red flags that he's throwing at me. It's like, let's think about refs and whatever game we're playing. He's not going to throw a flag on me because I gave him the option to, and I brought it forward. And he was like, yeah, don't worry. You're fine. Don't worry. I checked this with him like 2 or 3 different times. At the very beginning, and then more recently when Jess caught my half-hour steal.
I don't want you to misunderstand me. I'm totally excited if that's how it works. It's just there's some history saying, no, goddammit, it doesn't work that way.
That seems to be true of every single topic I've crossed paths with in this building.
Well, because what most likely happened was somebody took the most conservative approach sometime in the past. We lived with it because what was our option? What are we going to do? Argue? What was it going to get us? Because the people who would then write your check wouldn't write your check.
Yeah.
So that didn't seem like a positive way to handle it. So playing by the rules seemed like the best way to go, and as explained at the time. So much like the designated hitter rule, things change, and so apparently 21 and then 19 the week or 18 the week after is just fine. So
yeah, it's no skin off Kevin's nose, and he gets to be more important than I do in this conversation. So
okay, so what this says is that you photocopy the 2016 annual budget, scratch out with a crayon 2016, write 2017, and turn it in.
fair enough.
Do you have a crayon upstairs? Because if you don't, I would suggest you get one, because
We've got plenty at my house.
I think that would really drive the point home. It doesn't even make sense. Prepare and submit a level funded budget. So not what you need, not what you're headed toward, not what your plans are, not what your goals are, not what you're thinking. Just turn in that level funded budget, which effectively, with inflation, ends up to be a 2% cut.
And and to be fair, I haven't looked at any of that because I was busy with this thing and that other thing and this evening.
The striking disappointment that you encountered earlier.
I was so pissed. Such a simple thing to not do. They've rotated the house.
I know. We'll see it on site.
Fair enough.
The only benefit, besides the fact that I share your angst, the only benefit is that when they're done, those changes can be smaller on site than they look on the plans, and so we'll go take a look at it. And sometimes on site they look far worse than they looked on the plans. So we'll go walk the site and go for it.
Yeah. But anyway, have fun. Let's move to the.
So the next one is.
What else have you got in there that I gave you? The budgetary thing.
So
check my
the
list.
usual fixed assets, required to account for fixed assets, and our fixed assets are always the same. Groton Harvard Road, Sandy Pond Road, Oak Ridge Drive, and Snake Hill Road. So Groton Harvard Road, 121 acres. Is that your phone?
What? He's in the closet still.
Oh my gosh. 121 acres, that's our, that's the Pine Meadow Pond. Sandy Pond Road, 0.4 acres, that's that little spit. There's actually a tiny little piece of land that we own that's on Flanagan's.
Old Sandy Pond Road, right?
Yeah, but it's funny, it just
Or-
says Sandy Pond Road here, but you're right, it's Sandy Pond Lane or whatever it is.
Yeah, right.
It's not Sandy Pond Road. Sandy Pond Road is the main road. This is, Old Sandy
I think
Pond
it's Old
Road,
Sandy,
or
yeah.
I think you're right. Oak Ridge Drive, 5.53 acres. That's the contiguous parcel. And then Snake Hill Road, 7.62 acres. That's the piece of land that was given to us. Given-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These are appropriate. These are right. Does it need to be signed, or do we need to tell?
No. That's just the the bi-weekly update that they put in my inbox. If you're looking
Well,
at what I
but-
think you're looking at.
Please return the updated form along with written documentation such as
Oh, yeah, you're
purchase
looking
and
at something
sale
else.
and trade-in information by Friday, December 18th. Hold on. As you know, the town is required by GASB 34 or GASB 34 to account for fixed capital assets. The auditors have provided copies of the fiscal year ended 2014 schedules. I have updated the schedules based on detailed purchases on the town's fiscal year 2015 accounting records. Please review the attached schedules against your records. Done. Especially review for any disposals or other reductions. It is suggested that you compare your listing to the insured property listing held by the Selectman's office. Please update information as of June 30th, 2015. So it's dated November 24th. Oh, please update your information as of June 30th because that was the last fiscal year. Okay. Please return the updated forms along with written documentation such as purchase and sale agreements and trade-in information by Friday, December 18th. Auditors will begin field work. So here's where you may be at a disadvantage. So I can promise you that the purchase and sale agreement and the information for the Oak Ridge Drive parcel will be readily available because we just did that a couple of years ago, 6 years ago. The Snake Hill Road parcel, that should be readily available because it was given to us. That paperwork should be up there. The 0.4 acres on Sandy Pond Road, none of us had any idea where that came from or when it arrived.
Nice.
And the paperwork for Groton Harvard Road, the 121 acres, that's got to be before you, 1982 or something, 84, something like that. And I'm sorry to tell you, I'm willing to admit to you that absolutely no one has any idea where that paperwork is.
That's easier, almost.
Except, this says we're supposed to return updated forms.
Yeah, I think they all want that information if we're updated.
I mean, and honestly, I'm assuming that same question you're raising was in last year's. I'm just gonna go downstairs and knock on some doors and be like, guys,
Yeah, I
What do
don't
you wanna
remember
say?
ever being asked anything that's on here.
oh, that's really new. All right.
In the past, it was confirmed this is still property that belongs to you.
Yeah.
And then there was another email that comes out later that says, confirm you still want us to hold on to your beaver deceiver money. Every year.
Oh.
Every year, yes. So, No, this is brand new. In fact, oh, this is fun.
Oh,
In
you put it
bold.
that way.
In bold, it would be helpful for department heads to maintain an asset folder on a continuous basis throughout the year. Whenever an asset that meets the recording threshold is acquired, a copy of the invoice or other supporting information should be put in the folder.
Wow. They're really pulling a fast one of you guys here.
Should probably go back and find our asset folders.
I'm getting nervous about you playing with that screen.
Oh, no, I'm just untangling the wire. One of the quickie things I want to do is, obviously show you. I'm getting nervous about this budget now all of a sudden.
Okay, so I think we're just fine on this. I'm sure we're just fine on our budget because we're not overspent. Yeah, you're at 20.6%.
We saved money this year.
Oh, man.
Jess saved money this
Roll
year.
it over?
Nice work.
It's rolled
No,
over, right?
no, it's completely lost.
What?
No, let's spend it.
It doesn't get rolled over?
Absolutely not.
Well, why don't you?
Yeah, well,
Okay, we need another beaver deceiver.
Well, actually,
Let's
we
get one
do.
now.
now's a good time to
Before the
buy.
end of the year. Yeah?
Yeah, apparently
Yeah.
we've got 80% of your
Well,
money
it
left.
doesn't come from the same line.
No.
Can't use salary for.
And believe me, the people who know that this just rolls right back into the funds, I'm not going to let us spend it if it's not supposed to be spent. I can tell you that.
That looks nice. Waves.
Okay. So Brian, I went through, I pulled out the financial stuff and I'm putting it aside. I'm putting the geosyntech paperwork aside. There is, in our remaining 17 minutes, there's a National Grid 45-day yearly operational plan.
Yeah, that was in there.
Yeah, you know what that is?
Yeah, they're just telling us what they're doing, and if we want to make a fuss about it, we can. Otherwise, we should go cry in our own time.
Right, actually, the actual expression is you should enjoy urinating up a flagpole. Community Development Block Grants. Does this have anything to do with us at all?
No, you just have to notify.
Yeah, you
Okay, I'm putting that in the file.
So you're gonna still get a email out to Geosyntec?
I'd like to. It won't be in December at this rate. We went back to 7 a.m. calls. It's my favorite. Every day to talk about the same 20 sites. Every day.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought that would be smaller. When you put it at 100% and it comes out like that.
Is it 2,000%?
Well, yeah, I mean, it didn't translate well. We don't have to do this right now. I was just getting it set up so it wouldn't be a big deal when I did want to talk about it.
Can I mention two things I had questions about?
Well, actually, can I go through the pile just for
Okay.
a second? No, only because I don't want to miss anything. You've got a photo posters
Yep.
for Minuteman Press. Is that for this map?
Yep.
Wonderful. And it says, how many were you hoping to make? $42,000.
I hope that's just the decimal point and several zeros.
Maybe it is.
I was asked, they do multiple prices, so one will cost you a certain amount, and then if you get two, they drop it by like $1.
Yeah.
And then you go to 10 for the drop down again.
10 at 38 is $380. I'm pretty positive we have budget for that. That's actually not a bad idea. We would give one to the building inspector.
Fire, police,
Yep.
library, a school, another school, the upstairs wall, one for spare, et cetera, et cetera.
And then one each, right?
I mean, yeah, you guys have spare wall space.
Yeah. Have a frame.
I know where to
Just
put it.
for
There you go.
There used to be a fridge there, not anymore.
We could play games, get those A-frame plastic things to bring to events.
Walk around town with them on. I've always wanted to wear one.
Wrap around.
T-shirts.
Anyway.
Remind me, hold on, I have to write that down, wrap around. I'll tell you the story after this. Hold on. It's from Modern Family.
That's a great show.
It is.
Life in Pieces, though, has supplanted it as one of my...
No, I'm the only one who does the segues. All right, so... This is exceptional. There's not time if we all do them.
Wow.
This is great. So
brilliant.
how comfortable are you with your final product?
I need to fix it.
Okay.
Because in poking around with the Willows and Pingree Hill, there are roads missing.
Ah,
Or they're in the wrong place in the case of Snake Hill.
sure.
So I need to fix that. But
Is that what started your whole Snake Hill discussion?
No, I was trying to figure out the whole Lot X thing.
I didn't know if you came to Lot X because of your attempts on your map.
You know, it might have been one. It's a toss up. Anyway, this is more or less the color scheme I'm feeling pretty good about. I like the layout. If you zoom in a little bit here, you can see the way.
You can shift. Do you have your keyboard?
Yeah. See the way
Well, that's cool.
the roads are written in with a little bit of a shadow.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
This is vernal pool versions, actual versus potential. That's my compass rose.
Ooh.
Magnetic north. Look at that. We got
Wow.
a date stamp. Annual increase 3. The whole. You can actually navigate with this thing.
Huh.
It's great. It's great fun to find.
What is it here? Is it 12 to 16? Somewhere in there. Magnetic to true. Do you put that on there?
Yeah, it's right there. This is
Oh, so it's 14. It's 14. Okay.
and there's your offset 14 3/8 variation. Great little thing that I found. The detail that I'm gonna ignore is that riverfront area is not it's not rounded. You get where the river hits your water body, it's a 90-degree angle.
Right.
And so like the rounding here at the bottom, I haven't been able to figure out a way to undo that. So those round edges, I'm just gonna be like, you know what? Whatever.
It's really close.
Yeah, close enough. There's, good old lack of roads not showing. I'd love to find the road layer to remedy that.
I bet Deshaun could help you with that. No, seriously.
He might be able to. He might.
I know he'd be willing to. That's for sure.
I've talked to that man so much. And then in terms of language, I think I'm pretty content with where this is. Oh, and my little tagline at the bottom, see?
Excellent.
A little sneaky, so we know when it was made. So in 15 or 20 years, when these are still hanging in a window, getting sun bleached, you can do.
You can't see the you can't see the streets anymore.
Yeah, it's 20 years old. You can update it. So if you guys want a closer look to do any editing or indications here, but that's the
Have
gist
you?
of it.
Can you email that to us? Or is this the one that you emailed the other day? I thought I had one from like a week ago.
I don't know if I can email this. I'd have to compress it like 3 times. This is poster size. This is actually the 24 by 40.
Yeah. But how many meg is it?
I don't know, but it wouldn't let me mail it before. I tried to send this to Mark. I had to go through Cindy to share it.
Okay.
So
well,
the email kicked it away.
we can also put it on flash drive. So it's
Yeah.
another option. Okay.
I mean, you want one?
So-
We can print 15 of them.
Well, what I'd love to do is have you finish making your changes, and then we would just do one final pass over it, because right now we're not giving it the time it deserves. Just want to give one final pass on it, and then go ahead and make some up, because part of making them up, can they laminate?
Absolutely.
So, well, obviously that'd be another cost. So I'd like to know what that would be, so that
So yeah,
we can have really effective maps. I think it'd be a swell idea.
Laminating. I think when I was speaking to the people down the road here, it's like another $3 or $4 kind of thing.
Probably, yeah.
So not anything extraordinary.
All right. Well, so I don't want to cut you off, but thank you for showing it to us. It looks great.
Let's see. And then let's go through my set of notes here. This is just the update stuff. Are we done with what was in your stack?
I went over this stuff, and then there's the attachment A special conditions.
Right. That's just something to amuse yourself with and
Okay.
get a sense of where I might be heading with that idea.
And then the Raw Maker and Associates.
That's for January. I got
And this
that
is
today.
RDA for the railroad. And where exactly is this?
I don't really know. I haven't looked. I just got it today, opened it up, distributed it, thought, you could have a look before, you could be prepared when it came around. As opposed to flipping through,
Oh, it's tracked.
3 inches of paper.
There's about 20 different locus maps.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, that doesn't,
Like, this far out, it's like, I just need one locus map.
okay, so I have now gone through the entire packet of paper. I know what we're dealing with, and I am prepared.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Okay, so then I'll get going on what I've got. I went over to 98 West Main. They had a bunch of construction buckets in their driveway that they're just upstream of that house that's rotting out slowly, the red one where they closed the bridge.
Wait, what am I missing? On 98 West Main?
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be where St. Mary's, they've closed out that.
Yeah. But what was the?
Yeah, they're just upstream of that. They had a bunch of construction buckets in the driveway that somebody called in. So I went over and, stood on the road and looked at it. And, maybe they were sand, maybe they were tar. But I wrote them a letter and they called back and said, great, we were meaning to take care of that anyway. Thanks, problem solved.
Great.
Moved on.
Okay.
95 Fitchburg Road. They asked for a new permit to have 10,000 gallons of fuel on site. And in the internal circulation for comment, I asked for an RDA. It doesn't look like it would be a real issue.
So the only thing I would be concerned about is, obviously there are other permitting steps they have to take. I don't assume ours precludes anything.
No.
So is there any wetland in that area? Is there a jurisdictional area, maybe across the street?
Yeah, like adjacent to the left and adjacent to the right, but not.
I'm assuming it's go past the grocery store and the funeral home, and then you have the tree guy, and then after that you have a bunch of tanks, and I'm assuming it's another tank in that tank farm.
They're over here.
Lorden?
Yeah, is that Lorden?
Yeah.
Up
Is
here,
that-
right? That's
Yeah,
where-
I think you're on it.
Yeah, it's up
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, on the
There.
right side of the road, not going towards Shirley. It's on the right side of the road.
Yeah, okay. So it's the Lorden.
Probably Lorden, or it could even be at 10,000 gallons.
Here, it's this funny shape here where the hand is.
Yeah.
And so there's wetland here and there and here, but right in the spot where they're likely to put it, it's not an issue. It'd just be that if 10,000 gallons spilled, it would impact an issue.
Yeah. Well, I guess the interesting question would be, if 10,000 gallons spilled, I'm assuming it lands in the containment device that's around it, completely surrounding it as part of their permitting with the state. But
Theoretically, right. But not knowing any of those details, I just hope, RDA would be nice.
Sure.
Let's go back to, let's see, Devin's letter. So Devin's, there's a report from those guys. Record of decision for Plow Shop Pond.
Oh,
Lovely
is that
little
in
thing.
here?
No, this is right here.
Wait.
The EPA made a fuss because the final report left out a bunch of their recommendations and just blew them off, basically. And so,
So the people we didn't trust were not trustworthy.
as it turns out. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That just feels better, right? There's one of my favorite lines in The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul. He grabs his hat and his jacket and he says, I said it was all her fault this morning, but I just had no idea I was completely right. I knew these people were bad
You
news.
should have like a Segway stick. Like,
Yeah,
whoever
keep going.
wants that stick,
Just
you get
keep
the
going.
Segways. Anyway, so EPA is on them and they're in a formal negotiation step at the moment. And I got an email from Lori today that Pace was specifically invited to the meeting to discuss this. They've had one or two already.
Wow.
Let's see. The first IDR meeting was held November 12th. The next one is December 15th. And then Lori's email here in blue. Pace has been specifically invited to the issues.
Impromptu meeting?
Yeah. Well, important, I think.
Think so?
Yeah,
I guess so, right? Because it's scheduled, so it's not
December
really
15th.
impromptu.
Yeah.
Or she's planning on being impish.
So that's going on. That's in play.
Great.
open space meeting on the 16th. I called Epsilon to ask for more of their paperwork because in one of the minutes that we didn't bring up at our conversation about the Willows, at some point, Bill, you actually wanted the applicant to respond to that letter from Epsilon, and for Epsilon to have the chance to respond to the responses and get it all in writing. I haven't seen any of those, so if they ever happened or not, that would be nice to have too. But those particular issues seem like they're being settled out without this extra bit of paperwork. Let's see. And Madry checked. Autumn Ridge has an outstanding COC request. You guys, I'm finding all.
Well, no. Hold on. Autumn Ridge does?
Yep. That's a little bigger than just bringing in the Mandarys, but apparently there's a request for a certificate of compliance in the Autumn Ridge file.
But didn't we delay that, like, because of like the turtle habitat and stuff?
Well, so,
Misty.
and we're talking about 5 years ago. They, one of the historical parts about Autumn Ridge you should know is that the original building partners went out of business.
Yeah,
Went
I've
bankrupt.
seen that. Well,
And
the,
so-
the owners went bankrupt.
Right.
Yeah.
And so as, well, actually, the owners were only part owners. They got in bed with other people in town. That group went out. A new group came in. We reminded them about all the stuff they were doing wrong, and they thumbed their nose at us. And then they went out, and then another group came in. It was
and
one
there was a
iteration of the
group
first
that
group.
just stuck around forever.
Right. And so whoever was there was going to finish it up, and we had several visits from some of the folks who live there to say, hey, these guys are going to go away and leave us holding the bag. And so that was when the paving started. That's got to be 2 years ago.
Yeah, remember that was like the getting into the catch basins, some of them had a different type
Right.
of
There was
foot or
actually,
something.
yeah, they had been built differently. There was
Yeah.
all sorts of wackadoodle stuff going on. So we went and met, and there was talk about puddles, and I drove around in there. I drove around in there every single weekend and every time it rained, and they finally got the paving cleared up, and they got the basins taken care of. And there was no more puddling, no more issues with detention. However, I guarantee that that certificate of compliance request was in the file from back in the middle of all those people, because one of them was trying to get the rest of their bank loan money. Just a guess.
That just sounds
Funny no one's come
ridiculous.
back. Funny no one's come back.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's
So it's sitting in the file?
yeah. The request is
Good spot. We should probably find a way to reach back out to whoever is now owning it or in charge of it and find out when they're planning to be complete. Something you could maybe put on your list to find out who is listed with the building inspector as the new builder. He's going to be the one to go to.
fair enough.
He may tell you they're all closed out, but that's where you'll start.
So what else have we got on here? The solar site.
Well, you skipped over Cheryl Volda. I wrote it down.
Where?
You were going right down. You said.
Oh yeah, we've covered half of these. This is
Yeah,
the
well,
notes.
Yep, Cheryl met. I talked to her before the meeting.
Oh, here we go, Long Pond.
Yep.
I was talking to a guy who's a forester for the state, who's on the Natick Concom, about that recommendation in the geosyntax report about the significance ecologically of Long Pond. And one of the ideas that he had that struck me as intriguing was petitioning the state to change the name of the ACEC.
ACEC.
Yeah. And so it's like, what is it, the Powassit or the Powa?
Petapawag.
Yeah. Petapawag.
Petapawag.
Yeah, Petapawag and Long Pond ASAC. And just like a way of, because I was brainstorming with him ways to somehow incorporate further protections in one way or another for that ecosystem, for that eco area, however you want to bound it. And he said, putting it in the name, wouldn't necessarily add anything, but then again, it might add a lot.
Well, something to talk about. I understand it. I don't even know who you'd petition to change the name of an ACEC based on the fact they were formed 20 years ago.
2006.
No,
Yeah.
had to be
No,
earlier.
2002. Or no, 6.
No, because we couldn't be. Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was 3 years, so that would be 9. I guess that makes
Jerry
sense.
Durand was the man at the time.
Bob.
Yes,
Bob Handshake Durand,
yes,
the one who got Elizabeth Estates in.
I believe so.
So
Okay.
It's an intriguing idea that, just an intriguing idea.
Something to think about.
Yeah, something to raise and, get into your sausage makers. The solar site.
It's just a pasta maker now.
The solar site, I've been having some trouble with the road up there. They keep knocking it down, and I have to keep calling to have the erosion protections put up. It hasn't been a problem, but that's come up more than once. I haven't walked out yet.
This is Borrego Solar?
Yeah, I haven't walked out yet to do a full perimeter of the land they cleared, but I did walk the road, and so far so good, except for the very where the hill is coming up away from the highway.
Well, so you've walked the, so when you say you haven't walked the full perimeter, you've walked the erosion controls.
I've walked the road out to where the work was done,
Mm-hmm.
and then had to be somewhere else. And I was there to make a fuss and inspect the hill, which they had, mucked up more than once. And so I still have to get out there to do that. But based on what I've seen, they doing all right. It's the far back corner I haven't seen. Anyway. Poster quotes. Sandy Ponds here. I haven't heard anything new there. I started incorporating the paperwork into a GIS format. So like NOI, COC, any of these things like dates, names, locations, so that theoretically, just like the map that we were looking at, we could do one for like, when does the COC expire? When do we need a permit due? And so we could see theoretically, if I get the system rolling, everything could be seen much faster, much simpler on display.
I'm with you. As long as we can correlate it to a database or even just a spreadsheet, which I hate saying out loud.
Which is essentially the GIS. It's that I'm doing it in the GIS version of the spreadsheet, and then you turn that around and it's linked into the space, the visuals. But I can print it out essentially in spreadsheet form.
Well, that would be great, because at some point in the spring, that's when those letters will start to go out. You have an open order of conditions. Please tell us when we can come inspect your hay bales and erosion controls, or if you'd like to fill out the COC paperwork attached in the letter.
Right. Which is why I'm finding these leftover things in the files, because I'm trying to go through a few. I started with A.
Mm-hmm. Instead of a random L.
So yeah, that's going. I haven't touched that signature page job in ages. Cindy did the. I told you that she got a free copy of Adobe. So if there's any particular old reports that you'd like to see scanned and uploaded, or like spread, or if there's any favorites, like any classic rock kind of choices, I can put that on the to-do list. But otherwise, I might get. I might slip and slide behind all the other million things.
That's how it usually works. Is there, one thing you could put on your note, only because at one point there were a whole bunch of people who were involved in the SHAVE program. Are you familiar with this?
No.
It's essentially performing tasks or labor for the town in regard for your taxes for folks who are in a better position to provide labor in their free time than to pay for their taxes with cash.
That's cool.
And so,
Damn, I could have done that.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even know if the SHAVE program is still in place. So it's
I think you should work that deal out. It's still the same fiscal year. You're okay.
Retrospective.
All right. So thank you very much for going through your list.
And he also went down,
Pass that back,
he checked out Kohler Place.
Yep. Kohler Place looks good.
How's that porta potty?
It's in.
Yeah, it's there. It's not knocked over. They're trying to put in the road this week. They were supposed to try last week, and that got kicked back. So now it's.
They have destroyed so far only 4 mailboxes.
Yeah, they've got one pile of rocks that is impairing their erosion controls, and they said they'd fix it. But the foreman seemed like a nice enough guy.
Don't keep an eye on.
Yeah. I
She
mean,
said unbiasedly, but
let's put it this way.
Huh.
You know, I saw the problem and I didn't mention it. So, you know, then I was like, chatting, and he's like, yeah, we got to fix this thing over there. I was like, oh, good. I'm glad you brought that up on your own.
word is that the dirt crew isn't allowed to pull a permit for digging in Shirley.
Well,
I'm not
that's
going to say names,
interesting.
so. But anyway,
All right.
So that is the status of just about everything.
Well, that's fantastic. So let's go backwards a tiny bit. Anybody have any changes to the agenda? Okay, I'm just going to check it off. We're not going to bother with that and vote. Approval of meeting minutes. Let's see.
we have two.
Two.
After the
Well,
meeting,
because the
I got
special
points of
meeting
note.
and,
I got 12-3 here.
that I found to be
and you also
quite
got,
interesting.
I probably read that already.
Yeah, probably.
and Bill, the 12-3
I only got
one you
halfway
could
through
keep because that might help when you do your little note to
That is extremely exciting. What day is today again? 10?
10.
Yeah.
Which one are you looking at right now?
12-3. When I'm mostly interested in making sure that my notes of what I thought we were going to do and your notes of what I thought I was going to do match. Your notes have me doing a lot more stuff.
And they must be right.
See, that wasn't a side. That was a quip. Those are allowed.
See, you're getting it.
I started my one agenda item, so I wrote up a letter, which I want you guys to approve, to get a quote for water
Oh.
testing.
Right.
Hey.
That's
That's in the
fantastic.
minutes.
That's in the minutes.
I am fine with the 12-3 minutes. Anyone have any changes or additions? Conservation is still spelled right at the top. I would accept a motion to approve the meeting minutes from 12/3/2015 as spectacularly written.
So moved.
Very nice.
Yeah?
Nice.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Jess, as always. Now let's look at the 11/12 minutes. 11/12.
But just think, the next one is 114.
It just feels so funny to have the one meeting.
Little change.
Hard to believe we met for the Willows on 11/12. Huh. Right.
It's definitely a piece missing.
We're going to sit on it.
Is it the spring?
Well, Brian, life in pieces.
Hey!
It flew over this
I
way.
like it too.
That's a great shout.
Oh, wait, is that it? No.
What are we looking for?
All right.
Is it
Something
spring?
small.
That's spring?
I have
Whatever.
no issue with the 11/12 meeting minutes. Anyone?
No.
I would entertain a motion to approve the 11/12 meeting minutes, no matter how many pieces Brian's pen is in.
To be fair, it's the town's pen.
Even worse. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank
Who,
you.
who seconded it?
I did.
Takashi did.
You mumble it?
It was very quiet. It was quick.
I'll take credit for it.
All right, we seem to have covered announcements. Any accounts payable, Brian? Just that one for Geosyntec?
Yeah.
Okay. And then last but not least, CPC member updates?
No, nothing new.
All right. Nothing for stormwater, nothing for greenway, nothing for open space. Wait, no, you're open space.
Yeah,
look
but
to you. My
we're meeting next week.
Excellent. Okay. No citizens' concerns. I would accept a...
Oh, wait.
No,
For what?
member updates.
Oh,
I just have two things. One is that Mark Velarde's property on Snake Hill, you know that little...
I know.
I drove by today, or yesterday, I noticed this, and there's like all this silt fencing right around the stream, and all these piles of material on the other side of it. So,
What?
well, Okay, so, okay, so here's the road, this is looking at the town beach. But this is the little area in between
Yeah,
his
no,
property.
absolutely, that's the wetland area.
Yeah, so
That's
silt
that's where
fence-
the culvert pipe is
Yeah.
from the other side of the street.
So silt fencing, but pile of material.
Oh, you reminded me of something too. Thank you.
Okay, where'd it go? Yeah, so like, here are these big piles of loose material.
On the inside of the silt fence?
That would be the inside of the silt fence.
Holy shit, what is that?
And further in on Velarde's property, there looks like there's a pile of
Somebody
sand.
getting in an accident?
Oh,
Right now?
Well, there's just a horrible scraping and crashing noise. I didn't imagine it. Takashi, tell him you heard it too.
I heard something.
I hope that wasn't somebody hitting my car up
Well, that's
there.
what I was actually worried about, was somebody grazing cars on the way by. Did you hear the noise? Oh, you know, it's got to be the railroad.
Yeah.
Well, I walked today, so it wasn't my car.
All right, so you're telling me that he's actually constructed a silt fence and put stuff on the wrong side of it?
somebody has. So, I don't know, that's the
There's just a
road.
stash of like leaves or compost or,
Yeah, but it's not
In the
supposed to
wetland.
be, yeah,
oh, that is a wetland.
that is a little, we gave
Yeah.
somebody, we gave
So-
the person who lives on this side a violation notice years ago.
I knew you people would be upset with what I did. Her son went
Yeah.
like this. It was the best ever. I
Yeah.
wish we could have recorded it.
So-
She's sitting up here. She goes, I knew you people would be upset about me doing this. And her son's back there going, it's awesome.
Yeah, so,
This is essentially across from the beach.
Yeah.
so,
Okay. Are you here tomorrow?
No.
Monday?
Yes.
Could you please drive by there on Monday? I'll take a look at it as well over the
Oh,
weekend.
we can look
I
at
just
it
don't know.
tomorrow morning
Yeah,
too.
I don't know what he's thinking. Friday,
Or
Saturday.
Saturday
I don't know
morning.
what he's thinking.
Hey,
And,
oh.
Oh.
No, keep going.
okay,
Finish.
and then the
2 minutes, huh?
Okay, and then the other one, I was taking my dog with her injured leg for a short but exciting walk down the Pine Meadow Pond from Groton Harvard Road,
Okay.
just right down to the pond.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there's this sort of
Lean-to.
lean-to camping area
Mm-hmm. Lots of
right
trash.
there, lots of trash.
Lots of trash.
Did you let the police know?
Dog.
Is it those squatters again?
It's
I don't
probably.
know, so should I let the police know?
Yeah,
Okay.
so where is this?
If you just go straight down to the, going from Groton Harvard Road.
You park at the trail
Yeah.
head?
So instead of going left,
Yeah.
like you would go around to
Right.
cross the stream,
Yeah.
you go straight down and it comes down and it winds around and then there's that,
It
there's
doesn't
a,
even wind around, it really goes
yeah,
straight
well, it
down.
goes straight down, but then it winds around to get to that little point if you want
Right,
it.
but you don't have to wind around.
You don't have to go that
It's-
far.
It's right there,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, a lot of trash.
So what do I tell the police? Could they?
You tell them there's evidence of squatters down by Pine Meadow Pond, just
Okay.
like last month, last summer,
Okay.
there
Last
were
year they were
squatters
further
on
down
Oak Ridge.
on the Oak Ridge side. Yeah.
Oak Ridge side?
Oh,
Wait,
sorry,
not Oak Ridge, Autumn
Autumn
Ridge. Autumn
Autumn
Ridge.
Ridge.
Rod Ridge.
Oh,
just on the Autumn Ridge side of the power.
Fairly
the big power.
complex looking little
okay, I'm
structure.
thinking that was probably.
Yeah.
So you guys actually working on it. Yeah.
We were squatting last year.
The dog was.
On our
If I get a story
on
for you
our
guys.
own piece of property.
There you go, yeah.
Okay, that was it for me.
So I was out, I did a lap of the projects in town, and the one on Sandy Pond there next to the beach. You guys recall you allowed, 3 big trees to be cut down, is what I recall?
I'd have to look at the plan,
Oh, this is
It was a
the,
pine tree and
and then two
a,
trees,
right.
2 big trees. It was just
Yeah.
2 trees.
two,
Do you
just two.
remember, because when I was out there,
And we said he was gonna leave in all the underbrush.
yeah, that didn't happen.
but I know the underbrush is gone.
You know, there's
underbrush
like
is
6 to 8 tree stumps, like from this range to like this range, and you know the 2 to 3 that you guys talked about, you know, are these. Yeah,
Two.
they're there, but the ones that are more in this medium, you
We're
know,
supposed to stay.
Mm.
I'd give him a
He only
violation
left
notice
one
then.
leaning
There's-
white birch.
And it's
Bingo.
awful.
yeah.
It's awful.
And it's-
You just want to kick it over. Prepare an enforcement order on Monday and send it to him and say that his work doesn't match what he agreed to on the plans.
Okay. Do we want to put in any language about like planting trees?
Well, actually, what we would probably do is put in language like cease and desist until you come see us.
Fair enough. There's not much going on out there anyway at the moment.
No, probably not, so, but at the same time, it's basically our best weapon in these situations, unfortunately.
Alright. Cease and stop doing that.
Okay. George, did you have any member objections?
No.
Bonnie?
I have one. Who wants to read and edit? And then, if you want to send, get a quote this year for next year, just to see if the numbers line up with Geosyntex numbers. It might be even less expensive. Who's to say, right?
I still think we should get this on.
She doesn't care how we
She
get
doesn't
the
care.
samples.
Yeah.
As far as she knows, they're tap water. Doesn't matter to her.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Thank you. That's
All right.
fantastic. You were making a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
And did you second?
I think George did.
Oh, excellent. Nice work. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.